House of Representatives session resumes. Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal clarifies PM Balin Shah's remarks on Nepal-India border issues. Nepal's finance minister rejects claims of pre-budget leak and irregularities, calls some of the accusations organised misinformation campaign. The US carries out a series of strikes on Iranian military and surveillance sites in response to the downing of an American helicopter in the Gulf. Russia urges restraint in the Iran war. China too expresses deep concerns over the conflict in the Middle East. Pakistan launches deadly airstrikes on Afghanistan. Afghan authorities say at least 12 people, including children, dead in the attacks. And it's the final countdown to FIFA World Cup 2026. Hopes Mexico lock horns with South Africa in the opening match just after midnight Nepal time tomorrow. Good evening, I'm Smita Singh Tamang and this is NTV World Primetime News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. The details now. Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal clarified in the Parliament that Prime Minister Balin Shah's comments on the Nepal-India border relates to cross-border occupation concerns. Nepal's Foreign Minister Khanal said the government remains committed to resolving boundary issues through diplomatic dialogue based on historical treaties and maps, adding that open border relations have led to cross-holding and shared farming practices in several border areas.
नेपाल भारत सीमा द्विपक्षीय विषय हो र नेपाल तथा भारत बीच रहेको घनिष्ठ सम्बन्धको मर्म र भावना अनुरूप ऐतिहासिक सन्धि सम्झौता तथा नक्साका आधारमा यस समस्याको समाधान कूटनीतिक संवाद र वार्ता मार्फत गर्न नेपाल प्रतिबद्ध छ।
Minister Khanal clarified that the Prime Minister's reference was aimed at highlighting these long-standing ground realities. He also referred to the 1816 Sugoli Treaty as the key historical basis for Nepal's border demarcation. Minister Khanal added that mentioning the United Kingdom was not about third-party mediation, but historical context, and that any relevant historical documents could support constructive diplomatic solutions if required. The House of Representatives resumed its session today after early obstruction by opposition parties, with the meeting delayed from 11 a.m. to later hours. During the urgent time, lawmakers drew government attention to key issues including human trafficking, violence against women, foreign employment problems and religious conversion concerns. MP Gyanu Paudel highlighted the rescue of 453 Nepali citizens from India, stating that youths were lured into trafficking networks under the promise of jobs and exploited physically and mentally. MP Paudel thanked the government for the rescue operation and demanded strict action against those involved. Other lawmakers raised concerns over rising violence against women, confusion among candidates after cancellation of caregiver exams for Israel, and the need to address religious conversion within legal boundaries. Meanwhile, parliamentary discussions also touched on Nepal-India border issues, with leaders calling for clarification on Kalapani, Lipu Lake and Limpiadura. Lawmakers urged the government to maintain a clear diplomatic stance and take strong steps to protect national territory and address public concerns. Nepal's Finance Minister Swarnim Wagle has dismissed allegations that information about the upcoming budget was leaked in advance, calling the claims baseless and misleading. Speaking at the Parliamentary Finance Committee, the minister said rumours suggesting that tax rates were leaked leading to early vehicle imports are completely false. Minister Wagle clarified that there was no irregularity or coordinated insider information leak before the presentation of the fiscal year 2026-27 budget. The minister said some accusations were part of an organised misinformation campaign targeting him and the government leadership. He also explained that minor adjustments were made because a few provisions were missed in the financial bill and later corrected through amendments.
कर घट्छ कि बढ्छ दुईटामा एउटा उले अनुमान गरेर प्लानिङ गर्न त पायो नि अब हैन सूचना गाथ्यो भने कहीं न कहीं एउटा त्यान्द्रो प्रमाण त ल्याउनु पर्यो नि जथाभावी छानबिन के संसद त्यति सस्तो भयो संसदीय छानबिन भन्नलाई कुनै इन्भल्भमेन्ट छ न कुनै प्रमाण छ अनुमानको भरमा अनि जे आरोप लगाइएको छ त्यसको ठ्याक्कै उल्टो भएको छ कर घटेको छ राज्यलाई फाइदा भएको छ त्यो अलिकति बाटो हुन खोज्ने व्यापारीहरू फसेका छन् BYD यो भनेर यहाँ अर्को चलखेल भइरहेछ कि छैन म पत्रकार साथीहरूलाई मान्य सांसदज्यूहरूलाई त्यता हेर्न आग्रह गर्छु
Walkley added that attempts were being made to create unnecessary controversy around the Prime Minister and Finance Minister without evidence. The Asset Investigation Commission, formed to probe public officials' wealth accumulations since 2062, Bikram Sambat, has extended the deadline for submitting property details until the end of Nepali month of Asar. Earlier, the Commission had issued a notice asking individuals who held positions from former Prime Ministers to Under-Secretary level officials to submit their asset details by the end of Jesta, a Nepali month. The Commission stated that documents and complaints can be submitted directly through representatives, postal services or email. So far, only about 3,500 individuals have submitted their property records, prompting the extension due to delays and complaints from those abroad. The Commission also urged the public to file complaints if any official is found to have misused power or accumulated suspicious wealth.
हामीले दिया थियौं 1 महिनाको म्याद 30 दिनको म्याद दिएको थियो त्यो 30 दिनको म्याद पछि सकिदैछ अब कतिपय पदाधिकारीहरू राजनीतिक पदाधिकारीहरू नेपाल सरकारका पदाधिकारीहरू र उनीहरू कोही विदेशमा गएका पूर्व पदाधिकारीहरू समेतले चाहिँ हामी विदेशमा छौं हामीलाई प्रमाण घरमा छ संकलन गरेर पठाउनलाई गाह्रो भयो अलिक समय पाउँ भनेर उनीहरू आग्रह गरिरहे इमेल पठाइरहे फोन गरिरहे कतिपयले चाहिँ हाम्रो प्रमाण संकलन गर्न अलिक गाह्रो भयो सिंहदरबार आग लागि भयो मालपोत कार्यालय आग लागि भयो त्यसले गर्दालाई प्रमाण जुटाउन समय चाहियो भनेर माग गरेको हुनाले हामीले आजको मितिमा निर्णय गरेर अब असार मसान्तसम्मको लागि भनेर हामीले 1 महिनाको म्याद थपिदियौं
It has divided the post-1990 democratic period into phases for systematic investigation and review of documents and allegations. The commission was formed under the leadership of Rajendra Kumar Bhandari, with members including Chandiraj Dakal, Purushottam Parajuli, Ganesh Kesi and Prakash Lamsal. We're going for a short break here. More news coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World and this is Prime Time News. Nepal could face a severe drought this monsoon as rainfall is projected to be 75% below average, raising concerns over rice production and prompting experts to urge farmers to adopt drought-resilient farming practices. Sabika Shrestha brings the report.
This year's monsoon rain in Nepal is projected to be 75% lower than normal due to climate change. This suggests a higher likelihood of intensive drought affecting rice cultivation, 70% of which depends on rain. Experts have hence advised farmers to plant drought-tolerant rice varieties. In particular, they recommend dry-seeded and wet-seeded rice cultivation methods along with planting rice varieties that can survive even with less water. Likewise, to retain soil moisture for a longer period, they suggest the use of mulching wherever possible. In case of extreme drought, experts say farmers in the Tarai can cultivate crops such as maize, black gram, pigeon pea, and cowpea, while those in hilly regions can opt for finger millet, maize, and sweet buckwheat.
कति ठाउँमा चाहिँ अब यो गर्मी भएकाले छिटोमा चिस्यान माटोमा भएको चिस्यान उडेर जान्छ त्यो उड्नबाट पनि माटोमा भएको चिस्यानलाई चाहिँ कायम राख्नलाई कहीँ पत्तापत्ती ओछ्याएर कहीँ के छ अब यसलाई हामी मल्चिङ भन्छौँ छापो लाउन सकिन्छ छापो पनि लगाएर पनि त्यो चिस्यानलाई कायम गर्न सकिन्छ र अहिले अब यस्तो खडेरीमा चाहिँ अब पानी एकदमै कम छ वर्षा एकदम कम छ यो बेलामा चाहिँ जस्तो जुन ठाउँमा पानी अलिकै परिरहेछ पानी परेको ठाउँमा पानीको स्रोत भएको ठाउँमा चाहिँ पानीलाई चाहिँ सङ्कलन गरेर राख्ने.
This year, the sea surface temperature in the Pacific Ocean is expected to become significantly warmer than average, leading to the development of El Nino, which is likely to have a direct impact of Nepal's monsoon. El Nino is a natural climatic phenomenon in which sea surface temperatures in the Pacific Ocean rise above normal and wind patterns weaken. The World Meteorological Organization has estimated an 80% probability of El Nino occurring this year.
Whenever there is a El Nino condition in Pacific Ocean, the monsoon in South Asia becomes weaker in general. When monsoon becomes weak, then Nepal also will get the lesser rainfall. So in that sense, when we analyze this year's monsoon, so our monsoon is going to be below normal. Below normal rainfall in monsoon doesn't mean that there won't be the extreme events. The frequency of heavy rainfall might be lesser, but there could be heavy rain as well. So please be updated with our information and our special bulletins.
On average, Nepal receives between 1,991 millimeters and 2,020 millimeters of rainfall during the monsoon season. Nepal has 2.22 million hectares of cultivable land, of which 1.4 million hectares are used for rice cultivation. However, only 30% of this land has access to irrigation. With camera person Pradumna Dhungel, Sabika Shrestha, NTV World.
Joint security forces deploy temporary base in Bajura Humla border area amid rising tensions. Security presence strengthened after local disputes and violence in border region. A joint temporary security base has been established at Lampata in Himali Rural Municipality 3 of Bajura district, focusing on border security along the Bajura Humla area. According to Chief District Officer Dorendra Nirola, a 28-member joint team of Nepal Police and Armed Police Force has been deployed. The team will be led by Armed Police Inspector Janak Paudel with 21 personnel and Assistant Sub-Inspector Mitu Bahadur Bohra commanding 7 Nepal Police personnel. Authorities say the unit will conduct regular patrols and ensure security in the Rani Saina area for the next 3 months. The deployment follows recent incidents of clashes, arson and disputes between locals in the region. Police officials confirmed the joint force will remain stationed at Lampata as per government decision. Locals have demanded impartial investigation and long-term resolution of the inter-district boundary dispute through dialogue. Considering the heightened risk of floods and landslides, a 3-month ban on the extraction and collection of riverbed materials has been imposed in Dolkha, a hilly district in Nepal. A meeting of the district riverbed materials monitoring and coordination committee decided to prohibit the extraction, sale and distribution of river-based materials across various parts of the district. Committee coordinator Barjuram Ghatani said the ban will remain in effect from Asar to end of Bhadra, mid-June to mid-September. He stated that a decision was taken to minimize environmental risks during the monsoon season when floods and landslides are more likely and to ensure that a riverbed extraction is carried out in a more systematic and regulated manner. The extraction of stones, gravel, sand and other riverbed materials has been completely prohibited. Authorities have also warned that any individual or organization found violating the ban will face legal action. The free anti-rabies vaccine ARV service at Palpa Hospital of Nepal has been temporarily disrupted due to a shortage of vaccines. According to Hospital Development Committee Chairperson Ajay Karmacharya, the vaccine has not been supplied by the Provincial Supply Management Centre Rupandehi for the past 3 months. During this period, the hospital continued the service by purchasing vaccines worth around 100,000 Nepali rupees. However, after the stock was exhausted, the service was suspended from June 9. The hospital administration said the service will resume once the vaccine supplies are restored from the provincial centre and a new notice will be issued accordingly. It has also urged service seekers not to visit the hospital unnecessarily. The anti-rabies vaccine administered after animal bites is considered life-saving. The shortage has affected patients seeking the treatment. Flower pots and iron stands installed along Dhading Bazaar in Dhading of Nepal to enhance its beauty have now deteriorated, becoming symbols of neglect. Locals say lack of maintenance has left the structures broken, with cracked pots and hanging electrical wires affecting both the market's appearance and safety. Installed by Nilkantha municipality at a cost of millions of rupees, most of the structures are now in poor condition. Lights on many stands are non-functional, while exposed wires pose an increased risk of accidents. Electricity, telephone and internet cables are also seen haphazardly strung across the market area, adding to the disorder. Locals blame unclear responsibility and long-term negligence for the situation, saying repeated concerns have gone unaddressed. Meanwhile, the municipality says wire management and market beautification remain priorities. However, locals argue that little progress is visible on the ground. Despite plans to develop Dhading as a smart city, the current condition of the market reflects a contrasting reality. International news coming up next. For now, a short breather. The U.S. says it has carried out a series of strikes on Iranian military and surveillance sites in response to the downing of an American helicopter in the Gulf. Air defense systems, ground control stations and radar sites were targeted near the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. military Central Command CENTCOM said. In response, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC said it launched strikes on 20 targets at U.S. bases in the region, one in Bahrain and the other in Jordan, while Kuwait's army said it was also intercepting an attack. The U.S. has described its strikes as a proportional response for the Apache helicopter downing on Monday, while the IRGC described the attacks as vicious. U.S. President Donald Trump had earlier accused Iran of shooting down the helicopter and said the U.S. must, of necessity, respond. The 2 crew members survived and were rescued by an American sea drone. Meanwhile, Russia has urged restraint in the Iran war after Washington and Tehran traded new strikes in the worst escalation since their April 8 ceasefire.
Крайне обеспокоена новым витком американо-иранского вооруженного противостояния, начало которому было положено неспровоцированной американо-израильской агрессией против Исламской Республики Иран. Призываем стороны к сдержанности, к немедленному прекращению военных атак. Напоминаем о категорической недопустимости нападений на гражданскую инфраструктуру. По-прежнему убеждены в безальтернативности политико-дипломатического пути разрешения конфликта на основе международного права.
China, too, has said it was deeply concerned over the conflict in the Middle East and urged against escalation after Washington carried out strikes on Iran over the downing of a U.S. helicopter. It also called on all sides to exercise restraint and return to diplomatic channels to prevent further regional instability.
中方对当前的伊朗局势深表关切，相关各方应保持冷静克制，停止激化矛盾，升级局势，采取切实的措施缓局降温，坚持通过政治外交途径化解争端，尽早实现全面持久停火。
Pakistan has launched deadly airstrikes along its border with Afghanistan, breaking months of relative calm in the restive region. Pakistan's Information Minister Ataullah Tarar said on Wednesday that 4 targets had been destroyed in calibrated strikes that had killed 26 militants. Afghanistan's Taliban government earlier said 13 people, including 11 children, were killed in Pakistani strikes in 3 provinces. Pakistan has long accused Afghanistan of harboring terrorists who carry out attacks on Pakistani soil, a claim the Taliban government rejects. The latest escalation is the first since February, when fighting at the border left hundreds of dead. The 2 countries had agreed a ceasefire last October following weeks of deadly clashes. A Pakistani army helicopter crashed near the city of Muzaffarabad in Pakistan-controlled Kashmir due to a technical fault, the military said on Wednesday, adding there were no survivors. Kashmir is considered highly sensitive by the Pakistani military and government after years of frequent skirmishes and full-blown wars with India. The military's media wing said in a statement an Mi-17 helicopter of Pakistan Army Aviation crashed near Muzaffarabad today during takeoff due to technical fault, adding that all personnel on board embraced martyrdom. There has been a heavy security presence in recent days in Muzaffarabad after members of a protest movement said they would hold a demonstration shortly after the local government banned the group under anti-terror laws. Muslim-majority Kashmir is claimed in full by both India and Pakistan, but has been divided between them since the independence from British rule. At least 12 people have been killed in a mass shooting in an area of Johannesburg. Police in South Africa say another 9 people were injured in the attack at an informal settlement in Cleveland late on Tuesday, and a manhunt for suspects is underway. The suspects allegedly entered the informal settlement through both entrances and moved through the area, opening fire on residents and community members at multiple locations before fleeing the scene in the same vehicle. South Africa has one of the highest murder rates in the world, with around 60 people killed per day on average. Shootings and informal settlements are highly common in the country and are sometimes linked to gang violence and personal disputes. Masked men burned families out of their homes in Belfast in a wave of anti-immigrant violence on Tuesday night after a Sudanese man was charged over a knife attack, Northern Ireland's First Minister Michelle O'Neill said. Hundreds of protesters, many with their faces covered, attacked police and burned vehicles in a number of locations across Northern Ireland after a video of the knife attack, which left one person with serious neck and head wounds, went viral. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer described the initial knife attack, which took place in North Belfast late on Monday evening, as sickening. The attack, which is currently not being treated as terrorism, comes at a time of heightened tensions in Britain following the murder of a student who was handcuffed by police as he lay dying from stab wounds after his killer, a Sikh man, falsely alleged a racist attack. It also follows repeated protests about immigration, with populist parties saying Britain's asylum policy had allowed dangerous men into the country. More international news and sports update coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now the remaining from the international arena. Thailand's former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra is officially a free man less than a week after receiving a royal pardon, the Department of Corrections said on Tuesday. 76-year-old Thaksin served 8 months of a 1-year sentence for corruption and abuse of power before being released on parole last month due to his age and health. The Department of Corrections said the former premier was required to wear an electronic monitoring device as a condition of his release. The telecoms billionaire was among those eligible for a royal pardon on June 3, Queen Sutida's birthday, because he had less than 1 year remaining on his sentence. Thailand regularly grants royal pardons to prisoners with good conduct to mark major royal occasions, including the birthdays of the King and the Queen. Hong Kong authorities have charged 2 companies and 7 people over the devastating fire at the Wong Fuk housing complex last November. They were handed 25 charges including manslaughter, conspiracy to defraud, attempting to pervert the course of public justice and tax evasion. The blaze, which killed 168 people, was the deadliest fire the city had seen in more than 70 years. Authorities said they had charged the project consultancy firm and the main contractor, as well as individuals involved in the renovation, including the directors of both companies and the registered inspector at the consultancy. China has successfully launched a Zhuche 2E Y6 carrier rocket into space from the Dongfeng Commercial Space Innovation Pilot Zone in northwest China. The carrier rocket blasted off at 16:23 Beijing time, successfully carrying the Tianfan DTC-01 satellite and China Mobile 02 satellite into their designated orbit. The launch mission was declared a complete success after the satellites entered their planned trajectory as scheduled. The flight was the 8th mission conducted by the ZQ-2 series of carrier rockets. ZQ-2E is a modified version of Chinese aerospace company Landspace's self-developed ZQ-2 carrier rocket, which is the world's first liquid oxygen methane rocket to enter into orbit, marking a milestone in the use of new low-cost liquid propellant for China's launch vehicles. Now the sports update. The FIFA World Cup 2026 will officially begin tomorrow, jointly hosted by the United States, Canada and Mexico. The opening ceremony will take place at the historic Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, featuring the opening match between host Mexico and South Africa. This edition is set to become the largest World Cup in the history, combining football with large-scale music and entertainment celebrations. A total of 48 teams will participate, playing 104 matches across the 3 host nations. FIFA has planned separate opening ceremonies in each host country, highlighting their unique culture, music and national identity. Organizers say the tournament will offer fans around the world both football excitement and a global cultural festival experience. Nepal has been knocked out of the ACC Women's Premier Cup after losing the quarter-finals. In a must-win match to qualify for the Asia Cup, Nepal suffered a 56-run defeat, ending its hopes of reaching the continental tournament. Chasing a target of 131 runs, Nepal could manage only 74 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in 20 overs. The defeat marked Nepal's 9th loss to Thailand. Nepal has not beaten Thailand in any match since 2019. And before we wrap up, let's have a look at the reminder of our top stories. House of Representatives session resumes. Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal clarifies PM Balin Shah's remarks on Nepal-India border issues. Finance Minister rejects claims of pre-budget leak and irregularities, calls some of the accusations organized misinformation campaign. The U.S. carries out a series of strikes on Iranian military and surveillance sites in response to the downing of an American helicopter in the Gulf. Pakistan launches deadly airstrikes on Afghanistan. Afghan authorities say at least 12 people, including children, dead in the attacks. And it's the final countdown of FIFA World Cup 2026. Host Mexico lock horns with South Africa in the opening match just after midnight Nepal time tomorrow, and Nepal knocked out of the ACC Women's Cup after losing to Thailand in the quarterfinals by 56 runs. And that's it for this edition of Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries.
Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it.
NTV World. Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices. Where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Hello and welcome to The Perspective on NTV World. I'm Sabika Shrestha, your host for the program. From major headlines to the issues behind them, we break down the week's top stories and explore how they are shaping the path forward. This week's episode features a special focus on Nepal-India relations, with Foreign Minister Sisir Khanal's high-profile visit to New Delhi taking center stage as both countries sought to deepen cooperation across development, connectivity and economic partnership. It also examined Rashtriya Swatantra Party Chair Rabi Lami Chhane's visit to India and its significance for bilateral engagement. This was the first high-level exchange since the formation of the new government in Nepal. Nepal's Foreign Minister Sisir Khanal, after completing his 3-day official visit to India, said Nepal and India are capable enough to settle the border issue without any third party's mediation, while stating that some historic documents can be sought from UK regarding Nepal and then British East India Company. There is no room for third-party mediation. During the visit, Minister Khanal held delegation-level talks with India's External Affairs Minister S. Jayasankar in New Delhi, where both sides discussed development, cooperation, connectivity, expansion, trade and transit energy, collaboration and people-to-people relations. Here's what is stated.
यस भ्रमणका क्रममा भएका छलफल र उच्च स्तरीय भेटघाटहरूले नेपाल र भारतको कूटनीतिक र आर्थिक सहकार्यलाई नयाँ उचाइमा पुर्याउनका साथै आगामी दिनमा आपसी हितका क्षेत्रहरूमा परिणाममुखी सहकार्य अघि बढाउने बलियो आधार तयार भएको मैले महसुस गरेको छु। हाम्रो सन्तुलित, स्वतन्त्र र बहुआयामिक परराष्ट्र नीतिलाई थप सशक्त ढङ्गले अभिव्यक्त गर्ने अवसर प्राप्त भएको छ। व्यापार तथा लगानी विस्तार गर्ने, ऊर्जा सहकार्य सुदृढ गर्ने, पर्यटन प्रवर्धन गर्ने तथा कनेक्टिभिटी र जनस्तरको सम्बन्ध अझ सशक्त बनाउने विषयहरूमा ठोस आधार तयार पारेको छ। क्षेत्रीय स्थायित्व, आपूर्ति श्रृङ्खला, सुरक्षा तथा ऊर्जा साझेदारी जस्ता समसामयिक अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय मुद्दाहरूमा समेत धारणा आदान प्रदान गरिएको छ।
As Nepal and India seek to broaden cooperation beyond traditional areas of engagement, Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal's visit to New Delhi has underscored efforts by both neighbors to strengthen a partnership spanning development, connectivity, technology and economic integration. While long-standing issues remain on the bilateral agenda, the visit highlighted a shared commitment to deepening cooperation, advancing relations through dialogue and practical collaboration. Siksha Bhattrai brings more.
Nepal and India have agreed to further deepen bilateral ties as Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal concluded his first official visit to India since the formation of Nepal's present government. During talks in New Delhi with Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, the two sides reviewed progress on ongoing projects and discussed cooperation in trade, connectivity, energy, development partnership, and people-to-people relations. The ministers also welcomed new areas of engagement, including innovation, startups, digital technology, and financial connectivity. A key outcome of the visit was the launch of cross-border digital payment system, linking Nepal's national payment interface and India's unified payments interface, aimed at making transactions between citizens of the two countries easier. The two sides also announced a partnership between Kathmandu University and Digital India Bhasini to jointly develop a voice-first language translation platform. Development cooperation remained another major focus. Following the talks, India handed over a list of 84 post-earthquake reconstruction projects completed in Nepal with Indian assistance, including 72 health sector projects and 12 cultural heritage projects. Both countries also welcomed the completion of internal procedures for enforcing the Mutual Legal Assistance Agreement, which will support cooperation in tackling cross-border crimes. The visit also addressed unresolved issues, with Minister Khanal reiterating Nepal's commitment to resolving border matters through dialogue and diplomatic channels. While challenges remain, the visit highlighted a shared effort to strengthen cooperation across a wide range of sectors and further expand the Nepal-India partnership.
For more insights into the recent high-level visits to India and their implications for Nepal-India relations, we are joined virtually by Vijaykanth Karnasar, former ambassador and executive chairperson of the Center for Social Innovation and Foreign Policy. Welcome to The Perspective, sir.
Thank you.
So, as we know, recently there was high-level visit from Nepal to India. So, how do you see recent high-level visit from Nepal to India? What does the warm reception accorded to RSP Chair Lamichhane suggest?
Okay, this is a extremely very successful visit, and visit was excellent in both sides. The first I would like to tell you some message we have got from Delhi, that what does it mean for Delhi? Why they did such a grand welcome to Mr. Lamichhane and Mr. Khanal, for our Foreign Minister Khanal. The first thing that which I have been watching Indians, that they respect the people's mandate, which is a huge people's mandate in March. The RSP has got almost 2/3 majority. The first thing is that. Second thing is that India wanted to work with the new government with big enthusiasm. Third thing is that the Indians are ready to engage with the several mechanism at different level, at different mechanism, at party level, at government level, at every level. So these are the messages, and what I found that our minister and Mr. Lamichhane has made a very mature and very extremely, I can say that very clear message, mature and responsible, very clear message to the Indian leadership. that how we are going to engage, what are our priorities. Very clearly defined. The article written by Mr. Lamichhane is extremely very good in the sense that the economic connectivity and several issues are. At the same time, Mr. Khanal and Lamichhane give very clear message that we have some disputes, some differences over our border, and we have some, so it needs to go through the diplomatic way of negotiation and settling. So this is a very much, I can say that it's a kind of a very mature diplomatic effort by both leaders.
Sir, can we expect the much debated Kalapani, Limpiadhura and Lipulek issue with India will now feature in bilateral talks as well?
On border, Kalapani and Lipulek, Limpiadhura, and even Indian included Susta also. What I found that they have talked on it and they agreed to move forward the process, diplomatic way. And this is a very contentious issue. It does not settle in one go. It needs a very silent diplomacy where Indian and the Nepalese expert sit together and see each and every documents from 1816 to till then. So this is the one point. The second thing that such border disputes cannot be settled in one go or one meeting or something like that. So the trust has been created. What I found that when our minister has raised some issues, I found that the minister Jaishankar has very positively said, and our minister also reciprocated with the both together that we should go for a diplomatic channel, negotiation and discussion. So it's our foreign ministry, it's our survey department to work on, and then our archaeology to find out all the concerned documents and the proof that this area is out. So we have to create several groups, archaeological experts, survey experts, and then we have to go to negotiation.
Sir, how much has the visit of Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal prepared the ground for more engagement between the two sides?
Very matured statement by the Foreign Minister on India-Nepal relations. And so this is what I found, that the Minister Khanal was fully prepared for all the issues. He was very prepared on it. And sometimes I actually acknowledge him much. While he was, the last time when he was in Mauritius, speaking on maritime, on the Indian Ocean issues, how he relate our mythology from Samudra Manthan to Himalaya. So it was, he relate with the climate change and issues of navigation for landlocked countries like us. So he has very good diplomatic knowledge at the moment. I can say our top diplomats became a very mature diplomat.
So with discussions focusing on connectivity, energy and economic integration, which area offers Nepal the greatest strategic and economic benefit in its partnership with India?
I think that the Nepal should start negotiating on digital payment system very quickly. It is yet not fully completed, number one. Number two, that the infrastructure in our border areas and our goods coming from, although I know that there is an 8-lane road going to be from Raxol to Haldi Airport. So there are several things. Another big issues between Nepal and India is that we have to engage with the private sector of India to invest in Nepal. Because Nepal needs investment for employment, for economic growth. And it needs, and our neighbor countries in manufacturing, even we can go for a partly joint venture with Indian companies on fertilizer. We can go for several manufacturing, some parts to be made in Nepal and then supply to Indian manufacturing company. in a vehicles or whatever that is. In several ways, we have to engage in the economic investment. The first thing, my point is that because the political trust has been created, so it needs. And second thing, that the more investment from India's private sector as well as from India's government. We have to go for Exim Bank and take soft loan in our development process. When I see the budget, we have a very limited money on the development side. So that cannot be solved in employment. That cannot solve several economic issues. We need much more investment from our southern border. Because the Indian companies at the moment, I sometimes am amazed that they have been invested in US and everywhere in China and several countries. So we are, our language, culture, everything very similar, so that we can invite. We have to change our several laws with the government. My understanding, they are working on it. So they have to change several laws, and we have to welcome Indian private companies to invest in Nepal. So for me, this is the most important work Nepal government should immediately start. So all these private business organizations, FNCC, Chamber of Commerce, and several other NICI and other organizations should be revitalized and talk to the Indian businessmen. Nepal government should facilitate our business in relation to invite Indian businessmen, industrialists to invest in it.
So as we have talked before about this border issue, and you have said it will take a long time, so can we say that after this visit now India has opened up for discussion on the border issues? How should Nepal take ahead the issue diplomatically ahead?
Now, look, Nepal should, everything needs for a business investment. Whenever the business people or anything coming to other countries, they need their benefit, whether there is a profit or not. And that's why I propose that if there is a fertilizer factory, Nepal cannot afford the small factories, which is a very largely loss-making factory. Then we have to go to the large, which does not, we don't have that market. In that case, we have to ask government of India to facilitate between the private sector, and they should, both the private sector, both governments should prioritize that one, and then we have to establish it somewhere in Tarai or fertilizer factory. In such a way, I can tell you that there are big manufacturing unit established. There is a mark in Bihar and UP, which is very adjoining, even in West Bengal. So we can have some industrial, some unit to be established, produce in Nepal, and they can, like car, some parts we can produce, not all. And then the other things like the IT. India has a big, you know that all the big IT companies are the CEO, and all are Indians, almost 90% are the Indians. So they have a big asset in that case. So we have to engage our different engineering colleges to Indian engineering institutes, IIT, several IIT, and that can help us. So government should go for very pragmatic way of a start talking with the private sector. In India, the government is a facilitator, and government should make the law, banking system, everything insurance in a place, so that both the private sector can. And even in that case, I can say that the government decided to allow our private sector to export hydroelectricity in India, which is a very big departure.
Lastly, sir, apart from border issues, Nepal has numerous things to discuss and depend on India. First and foremost is the chemical fertilizer. So how do you see the proposal of opening a fertilizer plant in Nepal soon?
Look, the fertilizer, I think that India, we have signed G2G agreement with India, and they are ready to send us the fertilizer through the government channel. So I think that I don't know the exact position of both government, but I have heard in the media And from the government source, they said that we agreed, and now they have been working on to send it. It needs a little bit technical thing. I think that very soon the fertilizer will be arriving very soon at the moment.
Thank you for your time and insight, sir.
Thank you very much.
That was Vijaykanth Karnasar, former ambassador and executive chairperson of the Center for Social Innovation and Foreign Policy, sharing his insights with us on the recent high-level visits to India and their implications for Nepal-India relations. Now, as Nepal and India seek to strengthen cooperation across trade, energy and connectivity, unresolved issues such as border disputes continue to test ties between the two close neighbors. Against this backdrop, RSP, Rashtriya Swatantra Party chairperson Rabi Lamichhane's visit to India has drawn attention, with both sides pledging to deepen engagement and take bilateral relations into new heights. Here's a report.
Nepal and India have pledged to take their relationship to new heights. That message emerged strongly from New Delhi when Nepal's ruling party, Rashtriya Swatantra Party President Rabi Lamichhane met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his 5-day visit to India. Following the meeting, Prime Minister Modi described Nepal as a priority partner under India's Neighbourhood First policy and expressed readiness to work with Nepal's new political leadership to further strengthen bilateral ties. Lamichhane in turn said Nepal and India should move beyond historical boundaries and embrace a new era of development diplomacy built on trust, cooperation and shared prosperity. The high-level meeting comes at a significant moment in Nepal-India relations. While the two countries continue to deepen cooperation in connectivity, energy trade, infrastructure and people-to-people exchanges, unresolved issues, including border disputes, continue to surface from time to time. Against that backdrop, Lamichhane's visit has drawn attention not only because of his meeting with Modi, but also because of his engagements with key Indian decision-makers, including Home Minister Amit Shah, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, and senior leaders of the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party. Discussions reportedly covered Nepal-India relations, development partnership, democratic practices, security cooperation, and expanding engagement between political parties of the two countries. Such visits reflect an effort to broaden dialogue beyond traditional government channels, especially as newer political forces seek to establish their own diplomatic networks and understanding with regional partners. Sustained progress will depend on how both neighbors manage sensitive issues while advancing cooperation in areas where interests converge. For now, the visit signals a shared willingness to keep communications channel open and strengthen cooperation.
That's all from The Perspective for this week's edition. We will be back next week with more updates. Stay tuned to NTV World.
What if I told you a story of a place shrouded in mystery and steeped in stones? A place where warriors were born and raised, and their path through the mountains still remain to this day. Ajirkot Gorkha, the unbeaten kingdom.
हामी पाहुनाहरु आउनु हुँदाखेरि हामी यसरी स्वागत गर्छौं अनि अलि-अलि नाचगानहरु देखाउँछौं मेरो सिंहो नेपाल गाउँकी गोरखामा गर्व लाग्छ जन्मिएछु साँच्चै स्वर्गमा म त नेपालकी
जस्तो घाटु चुड्काहरू भन्ने चाहिँ विशेष गरी हुन्छ यहाँ।
For those seeking a luxurious escape, there are stunning lodges that offer an indulgent retreat amidst the rugged beauty of this place. But for the true adventurers, this place has it all, from trekking through dense forest of Nagepokari trails to exploring ancient temples and learning the rich history of the region. So, what do you fancy? Are you the solo explorer, or do you prefer luxury within nature? Or perhaps you are the one who seeks to witness it all. Well, after all, life is a box of chocolates, and this place is filled with surprises. Welcome to the place where magic and reality intertwine, where the wonders of nature are both breathtaking and awe-inspiring. From the elevations of 300 meters to a towering 8,000 meters, this place will leave you mesmerized and in awe.
This is where art meets thought. Stories we watch and stories that watch us back. Stories that linger not just in the mind, but in that quiet, unspoken space of being human. Welcome to Creative Forum, where art is experienced, not just discussed. I'm Shivani Thapa Bosniak, and from the crossroads of Kathmandu, we're joined in by two extraordinary voices. One from Iran and the other guest from China. Civilizations that have 4 centuries now shaped the way humanity tells its stories. From the poetic soul of Persian traditions to the philosophical depth of Chinese thought, these are cultures where storytelling was never merely expression, but reflection memory, and of course meaning. Professor Sun Jan, Chinese media scholar exploring global storytelling, and our other guest, Mojtaba Bahadori, an Iranian filmmaker who travels the world finding humanity in the quietest moments of life. Both are in town as jury members of the Nepal International Film Festival 2026. Welcome to Kathmandu to both of you.
Hello to everyone. Hello to Nepal, to Nepalese people, to this wonderful, colorful, amazing culture that I'm very, very happy to be here and very excited actually. I had a chance to go out last days and I was so impressed by everything. People, they are praying in the street, they are moving around, full of the handicraft, full of people, full of movement. It's like a cinema. It's like a total cinema. Very happy to be here.
Nepali people give me, including the smile, the delicious food, and the very lovely students and the friends here.
Just to get started, I'm so curious to know, because both of you travel the world with the great work that you do and the great work that you carry around. Mojtaba, let me turn to you. Why did you pick storytelling?
Storytelling, I think, is a part of our culture as Iranian. So poetry and storytelling is a part of Iranian culture, and we're born with that. I feel like all the Iranians, they're born to be a poet or read poetry and tell a story through their poetry. In the opening of the festival, there was a director of Sholay. You remember?
Ramesh Sippy, right?
Yes. I was so surprised because I remember I was a child in Shiraz. I born in Shiraz. I grew up in the south of Iran. And it was forbidden to watch foreign films, as it still is a lot of things forbidden in Iran. So people, they would hide video VHS around in a city. And we found a video VHS of the Sholay. It was one of the first films I watched in my life. I never will forget the scene of the Sardevi.
Hema Malini.
Yeah, the lady, she's dancing on
the Basanti girl, right?
Yeah, in the broken glasses, yeah?
Yes.
It was so impressive how she can do that. Only in cinema you can have those scenes that people, they dance on broken glasses. Yeah, I think the story started by watching films in a very early age. Forbidden films, like anything is not Iranian or is not about Islamic culture, yeah, which actually they structured our character. When I was a teenager, my father bought me a VHS camera, and I started to film things around of myself. I had only one video cassette, so I would film over and over that cassette. You remember, we could put it back or turn it back, and then
the cassette tape.
Yeah,
right,
cassette tape. Yeah, so I will film one thing and then I would watch it several times, and then I didn't have any other film, so I would film it again on top of that. That started by that and theater. I started to write theater piece when I was 13. Always very, very influenced by things around of me, especially in the Persian culture.
Really amusing to know that your childhood or maybe your growing years were so much similar to that of us here in this side of the world, right? Pretty much amusing. How about China, Professor Shun? Why communications? Why did you even choose to come to this field?
I found, because China is a very large country, there are a lot of people living different places. 30 years ago, at that time, not everybody can speak in Mandarin, even at that time. And we have a lot of mineral races there. But now the things has been changing better and better day by day. And after I got my PhD, I became a lecturer, associate professor, and professor in my university. I am the head of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. And I love mass communication because I got PhD for mass communication. And then later, I choose my research about social media and online media, because my university focus on high-tech knowledge and the computer science, AI tech knowledge as well. We have a lot of cooperation between different mayors, and I'm so interested in cross-cultural communication. When I came to Nepal 10 years ago, I was addicted by this country, by Nepali people. I love this country very much. So that's the starting point of my research about cross-cultural communication. And I do appreciate everything.
It's so beautiful to see how Professor Jan enjoys Nepal, right? So both of you are here for NEF, and the one common thing that I really am curious about is you both come from civilizations where storytelling is ancient, it's layered, and it's deeply philosophical, right? And I wonder, when you engage with cinema today or filmmaking today, do you feel you are creating something new, or you're continuing something that has always existed in your cultures?
I think originality is not very important in a storytelling. Your story shouldn't be original, it should be truth. It should be deep and should be personal. So I don't want to tell original stories. I don't try for that. I try to say truth, or to say the story that is close to my heart, you know. So I think in the end we are repeating the same story of the human being, yeah? But just we have different approach because we have different experience, or we experience the life differently.
Yes.
And like talking about love, you know, so many poetry about love, but they're all different because they have different approach to love. You know, they see the love in different things, but they try to explore it differently in each of them. I think the storytelling in a film also is the same. Actually, in a jury, as a jury, we have a section that we have to say how original is the film. And this is one of the sections I like the less because that's not really important to me. But for me, is what is the impact of the film? You know, this is a part of the jury judge that verdict that I give more importance to it. What was the impact of that film on me as an audience, as a person just was watching it, and also about that, you know, the technical part is very important sometimes to make things impactful, like the sounds, the image, but still is less important than the subject and how we approach the subject. What we are telling, what's the story that we want to tell to our audience. So yeah, I think originality is not very important for me. But being true, yes.
Do you see films as an extension of that, a Persian artistic tradition where meaning is, often found when it is left unsaid? I mean, does your work more focus on the silences between the words and the sounds?
This is what we say in music. A note doesn't have a sense if there is no silence between notes. If you put two notes without silence in a continuity, it's like. But if you do it, there's a silence. So the music burns through the silence. I think the story also burns after the silence is established in a story. So we have this culture of the silence in Iranian cinema, like big names that many people they know, and I see also kind of Nepalese young filmmakers. They're quite familiar to the Iranian cinema. We have a lot of silence in Iranian cinema because we need that to reflect about what we hear. We hear a sentence, then we have to listen to that inside of us also. So yeah, like my last film that it got the Everest Award here in NIF last year is full of silence because it's a story of a person who questions if the nature creates so perfectly in its imperfection, me as an artist, what I can create that is better than nature. Why we are creating actually? So the answer is because we need to make sense for our life. Yeah. So I see the storytelling and artistic practice as a need for making sense to our life and also presenting a sense to other people, a proposal to other people. Okay, we can see the life in this way also.
From what I understand, you were born and raised in Iran,
Yes.
and then later you shifted base to France, where much of your career has really, expanded and extended. So, how has France changed you as a filmmaker?
I think France didn't change me, but what it changed me is the people that they listen to your story. And these people, maybe you can find them in China, in Nepal, in France. So I think I was lucky to be surrounded by people that they are interested in a story that I want to tell. And of course, I'm still very, very attached to the Iranian storytelling, Still, like in my film on melting snow, the main story comes from the poetry of the Rumi. So if we are cut from the origin, what will happen to us? Yeah, we will always go back to the origin, especially when we grow. We say, okay, I have to look back who I am. Yeah? The idea of who I am comes from the poetry of the Persian poetry of the Rumi. But then I shoot it in Iceland, partly in Belgium, and partly in North Africa, because I was looking for a very minimalist landscape. So I went to find those landscapes in different places in the world, from the Atlantic, from the north, to the south of the planet. I would say French culture and cinema is very open to new voices, is very generous in listening, and I'm very lucky, I think, to be able to be part of that culture for such a long time. Yeah.
Chinese philosophy also has explored, long explored,
Yes.
ideas of, ideals of balance, harmony, and of course, relationship between individuals and the collective, right? So how do these deeper cultural ideas there shape the ways stories are told?
China has long story in this world, and we have a bunch of philosophers of different sides, and it's related to our mind, to our heart, and to the relations between the families or with the others. And it is very important to keep our mind calm and peaceful. So that's why Chinese people always think balance is the most important thing in our life. And you're right, we think independent is related to your freedom as well. So we are so independent in this world, and we treat the others peacefully. That's why if you can understand that, so you can understand Chinese.
Mostaba, when we speak of Iranian cinema or films, right, it's almost impossible not to think of certain stillness, a certain honesty, right, a way of seeing that both feels so simple and at the same time profoundly layered. And in many ways, that language has certainly been shaped by masters like Abbas Kiarostami, whose classes you are so privileged to have attended. And I'm really curious, besides what he taught you about cinema, what has changed in you in a way that you see the world under his guidance?
I remember the first time I had chance to listen to him directly. He just came back from Africa, and where he made ABC Africa. It was just the beginning of the digital camera, and there was a handycam. You remember the handycam with the small films, yeah? So he asked his producer that is it possible to go to Africa to just see the location, to find the location where I can shoot my film. And they said, okay. So he went there with the two other persons, and they started to film kids in an abandoned school, like in a school for kids. And the kids, they was interacting with the camera, those very teenagers. He went back, and he decided to make the film just with the rush that he filmed with his handycam. So no need to take a big camera or whatever. He told us something. He said, if you have a story to tell, don't wait for big cameras, for equipment and those kind of things. Just do it. If you have something to tell, just do it. Why you're waiting? What makes you wait so long, And this is what I saw also in the Nepalese film. I watched, I think, over 30 Nepalese film in a section that I was part of it. And I see there is a lot of courageous film that they are telling their story with, you know, the minimum technical equipment, and that makes me so happy, because you can keep it as an idea and wait for the perfect situation, and sometimes never happens. But you can also take a little camera with your friends and just film your grandmother, I don't know, your sister, the people in your village, and tell the story that is important to you. So I'm very happy to see that in a Nepalese film, really. I'm very impressed by that. And also, I think for me, the first thing I learned from Abbas Kiarostami is like, just do it. Don't wait for the perfect situation, because sometimes never you will have it. Just do it.
Thoughts of a true creator, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. And even in your work, we can see a lot of simplicity of the similar kind, inspired maybe by Abbas Kiarostami. So is minimalism for you, or Shaba, an aesthetic choice, or is it a philosophical one?
I think if you want to emphasize one subject, you need to decide what you don't want to talk about it, right? It's like in a conversation, yeah? If I want to talk about the human condition in a certain place, why I have to talk about the things that is not connected to the human condition? So I think in the end, for being more precise, you need to be minimalist. You need to choose in the end. And, you know, I think in the end, for having clear mind also, you need to, what we do in a meditation, right? We try to just concentrate on our respiration, concentrate on the minimum that calls existence, right? I think the film for me also is the same. If I want to talk about the subject, I would like to make it just that, you know, put it there like a good chef cuisine, yeah? You put little things there, then when you eat it, you feel it, you know. This is the idea.
Wow. I can listen to you like the entire day. It's interesting, right? This idea of saying more, you know, with less, you know, of trusting the audience, right?
Yes.
The minimalist approach in filmmaking, it's the purity with which that is portrayed is so beautiful to any aspirant or people who love real film and drama. Professor Zan, from your perspective as a media scholar, in today's very fast and very content-driven world, is there still space for this kind of quiet and very contemplative film?
Yes, and I think the the quiet is a kind of power, because it's from our mind. I do agree. Mashtaba says the truth is the most important thing in this world, even including the films, the fiction films, both fiction films and documentary films. And this year, I bring Xizang Panorama to Nepal again, and this is the second Xizang Panorama. And last year, I'm a jury and organizer, and this year I am a director as well. And because we listened to our audiences here last year, I found I should present a new Xizang to our audiences, tell the world what's the truth in Xizang, how developed it is now. Because Xizang is a modern society, it has a high-speed train, bullet trains there. It has a lot of high-speed road, highways there, and the environment is still very good. We protect our environment very well in Xizang. We protected the lakes, the mountains, and the animals there. There is a story about a slow leopard. It will screen this afternoon. That's about how we deal with the relationship between the protected environment and the people's financial right. Because a slow leopard will go to the local people's house, around the house. The slow leopard ate the sheep. How can we deal with that? Because according to our policy, we have the compensation. The people can get the money back from the government, but still the local people felt angry about the ship's death, something like that. And from Nepal to China, we have the similar situation about the environment protection. And we also invited 9 young persons from 6 countries, from United States, Russia, Morocco, Italy, Cambodia, and Nepal. The 9 people visited Xizang this January, so we shoot a short documentary film about their visiting. They went to they experienced the new electronic cars, electronic vans. They have the test driving on the highway, and they also took the bullet train, and they went to the electricity power station and see all the development there. And they also experienced the bubble tea with other young generation, because in past times, Xizang people enjoy the butter tea with salt, but it's salty. But nowadays, more people like sweet butter tea, and some people also enjoy the sweet bubble tea. That's very interesting, because the people there are having a new and modern life right now, and the culture and the philosophy is not stopped by the history, and every day is new, and I think the tradition is also on the way day by day.
So you mean to say that despite all the high-speed content trend that is ongoing, still the real-life experience is real and it's more important?
Yes.
Right? And why did you, besides promotion, Professor San, why did you choose to come back with the Xizang panorama to Nepal, to Nepal?
Xizang panorama is very important because we releasing 6 films every year about Xizang. And Xizang is a border part between Nepal and China, and between the Himalaya regions and Himalaya mountains. We are really like the families and brothers. We are relatives and neighbors. That's very important for us to know each other. And there are some traditional and cultural aspects are the same between our Xizang culture and the Nepali culture. So we want to, approach the communication between the people in 2 countries.
Mustafa, the same question to you. How is the current trend of media, especially on the consumption side, where they're so fascinated into high speed and scandalized contents, affected you as a filmmaker, or has it even affected you?
Yeah, what Professor says is very, very right. The culture is not an object that doesn't move. It's something that's constantly changed and is a part of this, heritage. The heritage is made every day. And what I see also, go back to the Nepalese film, I see like there is this really nationalism and this strong interest and respect for Nepalese culture via like Nepalese filmmaker, but in the same time, in a lot of films they try to change things, like the habits that exist in the families, the old culture that is not good for, So I think they are making culture by respecting their own culture. This is a constant change. The culture is born every single day, yeah? Yes. So I think also the speed, this fast culture is a part of the culture, yeah? The things going fast. But back to minimalism, you have to choose what do you want, yeah? So do you want to be constantly exposed by this fast world, or you decide to go with your own speed in the road that you choose to be in it, right? I'm like, it's very easy to be lost, to lose yourself, your mind in this fast world. I think it's necessary to have different type of cinema. I don't think one cinema is cinema and the rest is not cinema. Everything is cinema, every different style of the cinema. But some people, they like this one and some the other one, and it's fine, totally fine. Yeah, I think, you know, this very slow cinema is like a reading roman in old time, like a War and Peace of Tolstoy. It's like I tried to read it like maybe 20 times in my life. Always I went until the half, I didn't finish it. You know, so it's the time that, you know, there was in North Russia, it was cold and there was no internet. You couldn't go out. There was a snow until here behind of your door. You could read books like this, but today it's more difficult to read books like 5 Ouvertures. So I think by your situation you have to choose your speed also, you know. And it shouldn't be one thing and tomorrow not, you know. You can change. It's fine to change. It's very good to change. We have to be open to change. But my own cinema is a cinema that is impactful and is making me to think and brings me new questions. You know, I watched this film yesterday in opening, the Iranian film. It's a wonderful film. Yes. It's about a man who wants to find a laptop for his daughter to be able to finalize her animation film, you know? 2 different words, but it's about a computer, about creating alone in your own room. So this is an impactful film. I love it. And it's quite, maybe a bit fast for me, but still, I love it. It's impactful.
So let's continue talking about NIF, which brings you all to Kathmandu, right? So this place for many, as we have perceived from the feedbacks that we've been receiving from a long time, people in many ways find so many stories unfolding here, right? So, but you are both creative people in communications and filmmaking. So as you arrived here, not as tourists, but as storytellers, what was that thing that you took note of that perhaps others might have overlooked?
In the films?
No, in Kathmandu.
Right? I didn't still have so much chance to, you know, to discover the city. But, you know, it's a very kind and very attentive culture. It's a culture to make you comfortable and welcome you. I felt it since the first day I arrived here. And also, everyone does what they can to find a solution if there's a problem. So I love that. And I really, yesterday for opening, we was crossing this shopping mall. And I was seeing there is, you know, while I was going up, there was some people, they were selling sunglasses, but they were watching in their YouTube a video of dance, and I was like so amazing. I'm going for opening of the festival of the country, and I see the real life while I'm in stairs. So it's a very true festival, true people, and the way they do it is very true, and I love that.
And how about the festival?
Festivals, films, you know, so far what I watched, I'm impressed. I think, you know, last year when my film got the awards, and I couldn't be here, still I didn't have a clear idea about Nepali cinema. But I was very happy to have an award called Everest Award. That was the name of the award that I received last year. And I was like, I definitely have to, you know, find the opportunity to go there. And when they invited me as a jury, I was, you know, I didn't hesitate even for a second. And the film, the Nepalese film, in particular, young Nepalese young filmmakers, they have so much things to say, and they have so much things to change respectfully toward their own culture. And we see that through the film. I'm very happy. I'm very happy to see the films. It's very impactful.
Professor Jean, for you, Nepal, Kathmandu is like second home, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, like, does Kathmandu feel familiar to you, or does it surprise you every time you come back?
Yeah, actually, every time Kathmandu surprised me a lot. And in recent years, I came back again and again, and I saw the changes by my own eyes. And every time I came back, I found the streets are cleaner and cleaner. And I think the Nepali economy is raising up year by year. That's the happiest thing to me. And the Nepali friends are so kind and friendly, especially the common person on the street. Most of them are very friendly to you. Some kids will say hello to you, and some says including the girls and boys. And every time I was touched by some flowers and plants, and then because every time I came here in different seasons, I saw different flowers. Sometimes I was touched by the flowers blossom in the corner or on the street or just on the window. I think that's the happiness about Nepali's common person's life, daily life, and I also very grateful for the changes of the cafeteria. And here we can experience different kind of foods, including Korean cuisine, Japanese cuisine, Italian cuisine, yes, Chinese, some snacks here, and Chinese noodles are popular here. And the prices are not expensive. The local young people tell me they love Chinese cuisine, especially from my hometown. I was born in Chongqing, a mountain city in China.
That amazing city that we see, right, on all those videos.
Yes, I showed you before, and it is called AD Digital City. It's amazing, and one day I hope you to visit there. And I think, according to my opinion, Nepal will getting better, will be better and better in the future. Yeah, and the young generation, their how to say, their appearance is really active. Yeah, I like it.
Right, thank you. So before we wrap this up, there is one section where I get to ask you quick questions, and I request, you to give me very quick answers, maybe a word or just something that comes, into your mind right away.
Silence is accepted.
Sorry. I wish not. All right, so the first one is one film that made you feel deeply human, Moshtaba.
A Man Without Past after Aki Kaurismäki.
Is this an Iranian film?
No, it's a Finnish film.
Finnish
from Finland. Yeah.
Wow. How about you, Professor Jun?
A Snow Leopard.
The Snow Leopard. Okay. Wow. Silence in cinema or music?
Silence.
Silence.
Silence. A story you will carry with you from Kathmandu?
Being grateful.
People.
Grace. Yeah.
Wow.
Love story.
Wow. Okay. One word for Kathmandu.
The smell of oud is not one word, but the smell of this, what they turn on in a praying, the oud.
The incense. The incense.
Yeah, the smell of incense. Yeah.
Joyful.
Joyful. All right. Story first or image first?
A story.
Story.
How do you see cinema today? Overwhelming or evolving?
Evolving.
One thing young filmmakers should hold on to?
Keep doing it. Yeah.
Don't stop.
Don't stop, yeah.
AI technology.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your valuable time, for taking the time to come over to NTV World Studios and being there at NIF. And yes, do continue your great job and keep inspiring us all the way.
Thank you very much for hosting us.
Yeah. Thank you. So much. It's our great honor. Yeah, thank you.
In the quiet between the poetic silence and the academic vision that I talked about, the two valuable voices that we had with us here in our studios, we really found a shared heartbeat, even among themselves. For the shadows of Tehran to the lights of Kathmandu, we are certainly reminded that while the world may break, the story remains whole. Thank you for being part of this Creative Forum episode, and until next time, this is Shivani Thapa, Busnet, signing off. Goodbye.
The gorgeous temple of Changu Narayan holds greater significance among the 4 Narayan temples located in different cardinal points of Kathmandu Valley. It is situated on a magnificent hilltop about 16 kilometers northeast of Kathmandu in the Bhaktapur district. Changu Narayan is known for its majestic temple complex, full of magnificent artworks in stone, metal, and wood. As an important heritage site of archaeological and cultural importance, with a history of nearly 1700 years, Changu Narayan was designated as UNESCO World Heritage Site in October 1979. By then, it also received the attention of international observers abroad. One of the first substantial epigraphic evidences of Nepalese history was found in the temple premises consecrated by Lichavi King Mandev, dating back to 464 AD. It shows that Changu Narayan was already developed as an important sacred place long before his time. There are various myths and legends regarding the origin of Changu Narayan. As detailed in the Vansavalis, Changu had already been established as a sacred site around 3rd century AD. The Ichangu inscription of Vijaya Kamdev, dated 1199 AD, informs that the temple was built by the king Haridatta Varma, happened to be 9th generations before Mandev. The time of Haridatta Varma is estimated as early as 325 AD. During Lichavi period, Changu Narayan was also known as Dola Shikhar, which refers to a mount or hill in the shape of Doli. Gopal Raj Vansavali and the Changu inscription also mention it as Changu, a Newari word that refers to swing like hill. But the evidences show that this particular place was popular as Changu Narayan from the earliest time, and the same name exists in the society till present. This two-storied temple is of basic Nepalese design with possible emphasis given to masterful ornamentation. The temple may have passed through series of restoration. The present structure was probably constructed in the 17th century. Changunarayan is regarded as one of the masterpieces of Nepalese temple architecture. The older elements have been incorporated during the restorations.
Nepal has numerous places and monuments of historical, archaeological, religious, cultural, and natural significance. Among them, one is Bodhanath Stupa that lies in the northeast of Kathmandu. This world-famous stupa is the property of ancient arts and culture. It is also the property of Buddhist civilization. This region, spread in about 7,630 square meter area, is about 7 kilometers far from Kathmandu Darbar Square. It is about 100 feet in radius and has a height of about 141.8 feet. Its date of construction is not yet exactly ascertained. However, some theories based on some myths, chronology, and some written scriptures of Guru Padmasambhava are popular. The stupa, which is the largest stupa in the world, is believed to be constructed with the remains of Kashyapa Buddha in it. This stupa, also considered as the symbol of Trikal Buddha's heart, harbors thousands of devotees and visitors every day. Furthermore, with the enlistment of the stupa in the UNESCO's World Heritage List, its fame has skyrocketed. Despite the fact that majority of residents around the stupa are from Tamang community, there are also people from other communities like Newar, Sherpa, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Tibetans, and so on. This very feature symbolizes unity and diversity. The history of Bodhanath Stupa. The history of its construction is still mysterious. However, different myths, chronicles regarding its establishment are popular. As per the scripture of Guru Padmasambhava, Bodhanath is called Jarung Khashor in Tibetan language. According to a myth, an angel named Purnima Gangchungma was born in earth as a punishment for stealing flour in heaven. She was born in a place in Nepal as Jajima, a daughter of poultry farmer. Later, when she grew up, she got married to a horse trader. After the birth of a son, the horse trader died. She then got married to a pig trader. After the birth of a son, the pig trader too died. Then after, she married a dog trader. He too died after the birth of a son. Finally, she got married to a poultry farmer. He too died after the birth of a son. The mother of 4 sons then got involved in poultry farm and amassed a bigger fortune. After her sons got married, she still had a bigger chunk of wealth, and she decided to devote herself in religious rites. Then a thought of establishing a stupa was emerged in her mind. She then pleaded the king to allot some land to make the stupa. The king responded to her demand positively. However, a widow willing to perform a larger kind of pious work was intolerable to the wealthy people of that community. They then went to the king, pleading him to stop the project. Since the king had already promised her, he denied going as per their request. Due to this reason, the word kashwar was added to the name, which means slipped promise. And finally, it became Jarong Kashwar. In Tibetan language, Ja means a year of the bird. The construction was said to be initiated and ended in the same year of bird after 12 years. So it is believed to be called Jarong Kashwar. Jajima died 4 years after the start of the project. Then her 4 sons continued the project. Due to their pious work, those 4 sons are reincarnated as Holy King Trisong Duchen, great Buddhist preacher Shanta Rakshit, Guru Padmasambhava, and religious minister Bami Thisar in Tibet, and had worked for the establishment of Buddhism according to a myth. According to a belief, Bodhanath Stupa was constructed in around 5th century. It is said that this stupa was discovered in the era of Lichavi king Shivadev. Some Buddhists believe that, like Swayambhunath, Bodhanath was also self-created. According to a chronicle written by Daniel Wright, the stupa was constructed by King Manadeva I, which was started in 464 AD and completed in 505 AD. It was later destroyed by Mughal king and later reconstructed. It is coated with thousands of grams of gold. Water is filled in the stupa's pond in every 12 years, and in every 12 years there is a carnival to observe the Bodhanath pond. During the carnival, thousands of Buddhist devotees, either local or foreign, visit the spot to see the pond and take the water out from the pond. It is believed that whosoever sees the pond and drink water from it will have his or her illness remedied, and healthy people will gain immunity to fight against the diseases. A Chinese lama is appointed by the Guti Sansthan that belongs to the government of Nepal, whereas the Ministry of Culture and Tourism has established Bodhanath Area Development Committee that looks after Bodhanath and performs all the necessary renovations of the stupa. This stupa is based on the practice of Mahayana Buddhism. It is also taken as the symbol of Chintamani. As per the Buddhist model of construction, bricks, mud, stones, wood, copper, and gold were used to construct the stupa. It has 5 layers of construction, which are considered as the 5 elements of nature that are needed for the creation. The upper portion of the stupa from the ground level is considered as the earth. The core above it is considered water. 13 Bhuvan symbolizes fire, Chatravali symbolizes air, and the topmost dome indicates the sky. There is a ring road that encircles the stupa. Buddhists encircle the shrine chanting Om Mani Padme Hum. It is believed that chanting the mantra will free oneself from all miseries and will finally achieve salvations from the heaven, hell, earth, and other places. There are 6 such places in total according to Buddhism. Different statues of Bodhisattva are placed in different parts of the stupa. Mantras are written in each statue. There are 108 different parts in the stupa, and a statue of different gods and goddesses rests in each part. There are 108 total statues placed on those parts. Its dome is considered as the symbol of the universe. The 2 eyes in each direction is called Harmika. Harmika indicates the 4 noble truths and 8 rightfold paths. These peaceful and thoughtful eyes also symbolize knowledge and measures to rid from evil. It is believed that the gaze of the eyes will rid oneself from sex, anger, greed, attachment, jealousy, gluttony, and pain, and will take the mind to bliss, non-violence, and positivity. The question mark-like symbol below the eyes symbolizes nirvana, and the dot symbolizes wisdom. There are 13 more stories above the Harmika. These 13 stories indicate the 13 places after life that Bodhisattva crosses. After the 13th story lies a gold-plated copper lotus. The flower symbolizes softness, purity, kindness. Then after lies Chhatravalis, which is considered as a protector of the stupa. The top part of the stupa is considered as the symbol of Sumeru mountain, which indicates greatness. It is believed that after reaching the peak, one is supposed to attain nirvana, shunyata. Buddhist devotees pray to the shrine, seeking welfare not just for themselves, but for the entire living creatures. Nepal signed the World Heritage Conservation Treaty to renovate of different cultural and religious heritages with the aid of UNESCO in 1978. By 1979, 7 places inside the Kathmandu Valley were listed in the World Heritage List. One of those 7 heritages is Bodhanath. Different festivals and jatras are celebrated in Bodhanath every year. Among them, one is Mamla Jatra. It is also called Azim Jatra. There is no authentic documentation regarding the origin of this jatra, yet oral tradition says it had begun in the 8th century after Guru Rinpoche Azim was established as the protector of this area.
यो जात्रा चाहिँ विशेष गरेर ममको स्मरणमा ममको सम्झनामा मनाउने गरिन्छ।
Likewise, a day before Chaitra Purnima, Temal Jatra is observed. This Jatra is celebrated especially by Tamang community. During this Jatra, Tamangs from Kathmandu and neighboring districts visit the place and ignite lights in the loving memory of their deceased relatives. There's a tradition of giving alms and donations after the completion of puja. They also sing Tamang Selo and dance with the song. Vaisakh Purnima celebrates Buddha Jayanti. This is the day on which Lord Buddha was born, got enlightenment, and received Mahaparinirvana. There is a special puja on this day for the same reason. In the like manner, people perform plantation of paddy as the festival during the month of July-August. This jatra is a part and parcel of Buddhist identity. People light lights in the memory of their deceased relatives on this jatra as well. On Mangsir and Paush, October, November and December, January, people celebrate the Dasami Cheju Puja related to Guru Rinpoche. Losar, which is New Year, is also celebrated in a grand way. Special carnival is observed here during Sonam Losar. Similarly, after death of a Buddhist in the area, the deceased body is taken around the mortal remains is taken around the shrine and then cremated. It is believed that taking the body around the shrine will free the deceased person from all the worldly and afterlife sufferings. These festivals and celebrations are no doubt a continuation of Buddhist culture, but are equally useful in preserving the Buddhist culture as well as for the promotion of tourism. This World Heritage Site has religious, historical and cultural significance. It is our responsibility to promote this holy place as a beautiful tourist destination for the visitors from all over the world and work for the preservation of it as well.
The US says it has carried out a series of strikes on Iranian military and surveillance sites in response to the downing of an American helicopter in the Gulf. Air defense systems, ground control stations, and radar sites were targeted near the Strait of Hormuz, the US military Central Command CENTCOM said. In response, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC said it launched strikes on 21 targets at US bases in the region, one in Bahrain and the other in Jordan, while Kuwait's army said it is also intercepting the attacks. The US has described the strikes as a proportional response for the helicopter downing on Monday, while the IRGC described the attacks as vicious. US President Donald Trump had earlier accused Iran of shooting down the helicopter and said the US must respond. The two crew members survived and were rescued by an American sea drone. According to US officials, Iran used a drone to launch the attack on the helicopter. Trump said the helicopter had been patrolling the Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping channel that has been effectively closed days after the US and Israel launched its first strikes on Iran in late February. On Wednesday, the IRGC said US strikes had damaged a telecommunication tower and 2 water tanks and added the US had targeted the cities of Jusk and Sidik and Qasem, an island in the Gulf. Chinese President Xi Jinping has concluded a state visit to North Korea following a high-profile farewell ceremony in Pyongyang. He was seen off by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and his wife Ri Sol-ju, as state media reported. Large crowds lining Pyongyang's streets waving Chinese and North Korean flags in a display of support for bilateral friendship. During the visit, the two sides reportedly reached agreements to strengthen cooperation in areas including economic coordination, regional stability, and high-level diplomatic engagement, while also reaffirming long-standing political ties. The discussions are said to reflect continued efforts by both countries to deepen strategic relations amid shifting geopolitical dynamics in the region. The visit comes amid ongoing efforts by Beijing and Pyongyang to strengthen bilateral relations and deepen cooperation between the two neighboring countries. State media in both countries described the visit as an important occasion for advancing traditional ties and enhancing strategic coordination between China and North Korea. Kenyan police clashed with protesters in the tourist town of Nanyuki during demonstrations against the construction of an Ebola quarantine center reportedly intended for US citizens. Witnesses said the protests began earlier in the day and escalated after crowds gathered near the construction site, with demonstrators expressing anger over the project and its perceived implications for the local community. Some protesters reportedly threw stones and other projectiles towards security forces as tensions rose. Police responded by deploying tear gas and water cannons in an attempt to disperse the crowd and regain control of the area. The confrontation led to chaotic scenes in parts of the town as residents fled nearby streets. The Red Cross said at least one person was shot during the clashes, while another sustained injuries after being struck by a tear gas canister. Both were taken for medical attention, though their condition has not been officially confirmed. Officials have not yet issued a detailed statement on the incident or clarified the circumstances surrounding the injuries. Hong Kong had charged 7 persons and 2 companies over the world's deadliest residential building fire in decades, which killed 168 people at a public housing estate last year. The massive blaze, which engulfed 7 of the 8 high-rise apartment blocks at the Wang Fu Court estate in November, prompted a months-long investigation into the cause. Public hearings were told that almost all life-saving fire safety measures had failed on the day of the fire because of human errors. The 7 persons charged include directors and inspectors of the consultation company involved in the state's renovation, as well as the main contractor involved in the project, according to the statement. Substandard construction safety netting and cigarette butts were focal points of the investigation into the causes and rapid spread of the world's deadliest residential building fire since 1980. Required fire retardant nets were not used in many places, and the windows were covered by foam boards, which may have contributed to the spread of fire into the flats, the panel heard earlier this year. The Fire Investigation Task Force had maintained that an ignited cigarette caused combustible material to catch fire, sparking the blaze. Thousands of residents lost their homes in the blaze and relocated into temporary housing. China has begun to build the world's first and largest 271,000 cubic meter QC Max Ultra Large Liquefied Natural Gas LNG container ship. The vessel under construction measures 344 meters in overall length and is fitted with the latest domestically developed membrane containment system. It delivers a comprehensive upgrade across key metrics including cargo capacity, energy efficiency, and environmental performance and navigation safety. Compared with the mainstream 174,000 cubic meter conventional vessels currently seen in the market, the new design increases cargo capacity by 57%, placing its overall performance at the very top of the industry. China's global market share in LNG shipbuilding has now surpassed 30%. NASA has named its crew for its next major moon mission, Artemis 3, though the astronauts will not walk on the moon or go anywhere near it this time. The mission was originally planned as the first crewed lunar landing since Apollo 17 in 1972, with 2 astronauts due to shed down near the moon's south pole and spend a week on the surface. But in February, NASA changed that plan and said the mission would fly only in low Earth orbit, barely deeper into space than the International Space Station, and dock with prototype lunar landers. NASA's administrator Jared Isaacman said the mission would nevertheless be the most complex ever.
And now, just as Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo crews that came before them, Artemis 2 will pass along all they have learned and hand the torch to Artemis 3. Over the next year, they will train for their mission, ensure the lessons learned from the prior crew are implemented, and assist in the development of the landers and operational procedures that will be necessary for their colleagues on future Artemis missions.
Astronaut Luca Paramitano has described the upcoming space mission as one of the most complex he has faced, citing the large number of interconnected elements involved in the operation.
It's a very complex mission. Every mission is always more complex than the previous one. This one is complex in that it has many moving parts, and so I'm looking forward to the challenges, and I'm humbled by what's expecting us.
Artemis III changed from being an historic manned moon landing to a technology test in the Earth orbit because of delays to Elon Musk's SpaceX Starship rocket. This is the vehicle intended to take astronauts from lunar orbit to its surface. It was also judged to be too big a leap to go from looping the moon with Artemis II to go straight to a lunar landing without first testing the procedure to dock with the lunar landers in the Earth orbit. Japan's Ground Self-Defense Force has unveiled a launcher used for hypervelocity gliding projectiles, or HVGPs, for the first time since their deployment earlier this year. SBGPs are a kind of extended-range missile that can be used as part of Japan's counter-strike capabilities. The missiles have a range of several hundred kilometers. Their warheads are designed to glide through the air at supersonic speed and are considered to be more difficult to intercept than conventional missiles. Type 25 SBGPs have been deployed at the Camp Fuji. Civic groups staged protest when the deployment started back in March. This year's Fuji firepower exercise, the 68th of its kind, was based on a scenario of defending a remote island. It included firing drills by tanks and intelligence gathering using drones. Unmanned vehicles under development are also used. The exercise is expected to consume a total of around 69.5 tons of ammunition worth around 820 million yen or $5.1 million. In Turkey's southern province of Hatay, artisans are preserving a centuries-old mosaic tradition by creating intricate artworks from millimeter-sized stones collected from local riverbeds. Crafting a single mosaic can take months as artisans carefully arrange thousands of natural stones to form a detailed image and patterns. The process relies entirely on naturally occurring colors, making some shades particularly difficult to obtain. Artisans say the most challenging aspect of the craft is achieving smooth color transitions. Because the stones are natural, certain colors, especially blue, are rare, complicating efforts to create gradual tonal changes within a design. The completed mosaics, assembled stone by stone, serve as enduring examples of Turkey's cultural heritage and reflect the region's long-standing connection to one of the world's oldest artistic traditions. Toy charms shaped like a goat and decked out in Messi's Argentina No. 10 shirt are popular in China, where sellers are betting on the country's lucrative fan market for a big World Cup boost. The World Cup begins in North America on Thursday, but China won't be there after failing to qualify once again, leaving their sole appearance back in 2002. Still, there is plenty of interest in the country, and the showpiece is a boon for Chinese merchants, crunching out kits and accessories for fans spending on emotional value. The palm-sized software goats, homage to Messi's title as the GOAT, greatest of all time, are a bestseller for All-Star Partner, a Chinese company that has a contract with teams including Argentina to make branded products. Nearby are software footballers resembling Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo, fluffy roosters in France polos, and teddy bears in Spain kits. It is said football merchandise has become a rare bright spot in China's sluggish consumer market, with fans increasingly spending on products that offer emotional connection and personal enjoyment. With the tournament set to draw a global audience, manufacturers are expecting a sharp rise in orders as supporters rush to buy team apparel, souvenirs, and memoirs throughout the competition. For 4 full days, the Moroccan capital pulsed to the rhythm of voices and instruments from across the globe. As every year, audiences turned out in large numbers for the festival's performances, reaffirming its status as a major annual gathering for lovers of musical traditions and intercultural dialogue. Local spectators in particular attended in impressive numbers from the morning concerts to the late-night performances, reflecting the deep attachment of the people of faith to their long-standing and prestigious festival. Over the course of the 4-day event, more than 160 artists from around 20 countries took part in 18 concerts and artistic performances alongside forums and meetings centered on art exhibitions. Overall, more than 32,000 spectators traveled to the Moroccan city to contribute to the success of this edition, notably at the iconic Bab al-Makina Square, which alone welcomed nearly 5,000 attendees. A rowing team representing the landlocked country, Liechtenstein, is set to compete in Hong Kong's Dragon Boat Festival on June the 19th, bringing an unusual European presence to one of Hong Kong's most traditional sporting events. The group, known as the Liechtenstein Princely Navy, trains several times a week at mornings and has become a regular participant in international dragon boat competitions despite the country's lack of any sea access. The team was co-founded more than 2 decades ago by Sylvan Colani, who also leads the country's LGT Bank and is informally known within the group as Admiral. Wearing uniforms marked Navy, the all-man team has earned recognition over the years, including awards and occasional royal attention in Liechtenstein, where the sporting tradition has gained a playful national following. Organizers say the team's participation highlights the global reach of the Dragon Boat Festival, which attracts competitors from around the world regardless of geography or maritime access.
Votekosi and Trisuli river rafting. Rafting has lately been gaining popularity among tourists. The adventure sport, which previously was popular only among foreigners, is now drawing the local tourists as well. Trisuli and Votekosi rivers that are close to Kathmandu are two popular destinations for rafting in Bagmati province. Let us first explore Votekosi. Whitewater rafting at Votekosi river is included among the 10 best adventure destinations for rafting in the world. Votekosi, which is well facilitated with food and accommodation, can be a great destination for rafting and other adventure sports. Rafting at Trisuli River is popular among domestic tourists, as the location can be reached in an hour from Kathmandu. This is where most tourists go for rafting in Nepal. Rafting packages of Votekosi and Trisuli are appropriate for those who want to spend some good time for a few days. Nepal is a cultural, religious and a natural heaven for tourists with various adventurous attractions on offer. Nepal is undoubtedly one of the best tourism destinations in the world. Numerous UNESCO World Heritage Sites and conservation areas are some of the major attractions for tourists in Nepal. In addition, the natural, cultural and religious uniqueness of the country has been drawing large number of foreign tourists. Every place on earth has its own geography, cultural identity, environment, food and lifestyle. They collectively become the identity of the place. Especially the places attracting tourists got to have their own diversity and uniqueness.
Madhya Province
is one such place with its unique cultural identity and geography. A historic province of Nepal, special for religious, cultural and trade activities, geographically total flat land, and the province with the pious land of Janakpur Dham. Some of the major destinations in
Madhya Province
are Janakpur Dham, Parsa Wildlife Reserve, Salhes Garden, Gadimai, Jaleswarnath Mahadev.
Madhya Province
has an illustrious past as the capital of the ancient Mithila kingdom with archaeological heritages of the era, cultural and religious destinations. The province has special importance in the overall trade and transit of Nepal with the entire province in the Tarai Plains. The province is very important for tourism in Nepal, though appears to be slightly backward in social, educational and health awareness. The province has 4 domestic airports. The under construction Kathmandu-Nizhgard fast track and the international airport at Nizhgard will definitely open doors for its prosperity through tourism. All the tourism destinations are well equipped in terms of infrastructures, but some await road network connection. The need to explore new destinations and promote the existing ones has been long felt. These are some of the major tourism destinations of Province 2, which draw hundreds of thousands of tourists every year. The Janaki Temple. The Janaki Temple, in the birthplace of Sita, the better half of Lord Rama, is a pious place for Hindus. The famous temple in itself is an epitome of ancient Mithila art and culture. The temple, built in Mughal architecture, is believed to have been built by the then Princess of Tikamani of Madhya Pradesh in India by spending over 900,000 silver coins, a whopping sum at that time. Thus, the temple is also known as Naulakha Temple. The construction of the temple took almost 17 years, from 1894 to 1911. The Janaki Temple is the pride of the Mithila and a cultural heritage. All rituals from birth to death are conducted as per Mithila culture in this place. Major religious fairs take place annually in Janakpur Dham, including on Ram Navami, the birthday of Lord Rama, full moon day of Nepali month of Asuz, Kozagrat Purnima, Vivaha Panchami, and famous Jhula in Fagun. This massive temple is not just a heritage for Nepalese, but for all the Hindus across the world. Janaki Temple stands out as the place drawing most number of tourists in Madhya province every year. Chinnamasta. The revered Chinnamasta shrine is at Sakhara village towards the southern border of Chinnamasta from Saptari's district headquarters Rajviras. Chinnamasta is one of the revered shrines known for fulfilling worshippers' wishes. The shrine is about 10 kilometers drive from Rajviras. Large number of devotees throngs the deity's shrine in Dasai festival. Of the religious tourists here are either domestic or from India. The history of Chinnamasta deity's shrine, with immense religious tourism potential, is connected to the history of Simrongarh. Parsa National Park. The Parsa National Park along the border of Parsa, Bara and Makwanpur districts is the youngest national park in the country. The earlier wildlife reserve has been transformed now into a national park. Parsa National Park is a perfect destination for those tourists interested in wildlife. The national park is well known for the local wild elephants. Parsa National Park is home to some exotic wild animals including the Barasinga, blue bulls and the Bengal tigers. Likewise, birds including very rare spiny babbler, cranes and reptiles like pythons are found here. The number of domestic as well as foreign tourists visiting the national park has increased after development of tourism infrastructures in the area. One can reach Parsa National Park in around 6 hours drive from Kathmandu. Spread across Chitwan, Makwanpur and Parsa districts, the Parsa National Park is home to some endangered wild animals and birds. The major attractions here are Bengal tiger, one-horned rhinos, wild elephants, leopards, Gaur bison or the Gaurigai, among others. Dhanusadham. The Dhanush temple at Dhanusadham municipality of Dhanusa district is an important tourism destination of Madhya province. Mythological belief says this is the very place where Lord Rama had broken the bow of Lord Shiva to win the hand of goddess Sita. It is believed that the Pinak bow of Lord Shiva broke into 3 pieces when Lord Rama tried to fix the string on it. According to the famous Hindu scripture Ramayana, one of the pieces went to the sky, another went to the netherworld, and one dropped on earth here at Dhanusadham. The Dhanush temple is just 15 kilometers drive from the Janakpur Dham. The name of the place has been derived as Dhanusadham from the legend of Ramayana and also the district known as Dhanusa. As per popular belief, the one who sees the piece of bow will be eternally blessed. Birgunj is Nepal's major business center. Not just known for trade and commerce, Birgunj of Parsa district also draws a lot of tourists. Gararwa Pond, Sankaracharya Gate, Ghantaghar are some of the other engagements for tourists in Birgunj. Gariharwa Pond, the site of offering prayers to the sun god, is a sight to behold during Chhath festival. There is a temple of sun god in the middle of the pond. Gadimai. Gadimai is a revered shrine of deity at Bara district, known around the world for massive animal sacrifice every 5 years. The month-long religious fair takes place every 5 years. Gadimai is just around 8 kilometers drive from Kalaya, the district headquarters of Bara. Jaleswar Mahadev. The only temple in the world in Mautari district housing Mahashiva Linga underwater, center of faith of the Hindus, the gateway to Mithila. The attractions here are the Mahashivalinga, the cave in the temple, and the annual fair on Sivaratri. One can reach here by easy road travel from Kathmandu to Jaleshwar. One can reach the Salahis Garden, just 3 kilometers ride from Lahan Bazar of Lahan municipality in Siraha district. Every tourism destination in Madhya province has its own speciality. Almost all these destinations are awaiting promotion, at the same time developing necessary infrastructure to promote tourism here has its own challenges. Tourism could be the road to prosperity for province too, if only the government pays little more attention in developing and promoting potential destinations. Compared to some other provinces, it has much higher tourism potential. Upgrading the dilapidated roads and highways is important in addition to operating regular air services. The province and ultimately the country can reap the benefits of tourism if only the slogan of "guests are gods" can be better implemented. Annapurna Circuit Trek features in world's 10 best destinations and adventures. The trekking circuit is the choice of many trekkers as it offers both adventure along with mesmerizing view of mountain ranges. Arguably the best trekking circuit in the world, travelers get up close with dozens of mountains including the Annapurna, Dhaulagiri, Nilgiri. Annapurna Circuit ideally is a 14-day trek. The circuit passes through Lamjung, Manang, Mustang and Myagdi district, including Thorangla Pass as the highest point. Places including Dampus, Ghandruk and Poon Hill are part of this trekking circuit. The revered Muktinath shrine is also part of the circuit. Only foreigners were seen in this circuit few years back, but now domestic tourists are also flocking the area. If you are looking for a lifetime trekking experience, then pack your bags for Annapurna trekking circuit. Mardi Base Camp Trek, also part of the Annapurna circuit, is another alternative route for trekkers who can't afford time. Trekkers can be up close with mountains including the Annapurna range, Dhaulagiri, Machapuchre and Manasalu in this circuit. This 7-day circuit is attracting many trekkers for obvious reasons.
Actually, when I was 16, back in 2015, I was at a music festival. This music is called bluegrass that I play, and I was at this bluegrass festival, and this person named Tara Linhart. She is amazing. You can talk to her more, but she had a fantastic project called the Mountain Music Project. And I heard this project of Nepali musicians and bluegrass musicians coming together and fusing the music. And I thought it was really, really cool to see this cross-cultural collaboration. But I really just wanted to get back to music. And so I reached out to Tara. I had an opportunity to get some funding. And I emailed her randomly. She was in Bhutan at the time. And I said, hey, I want to set up a music project in Nepal. Can you connect me with some of your buddies? And she got on a WhatsApp call and started giving me the lowdown of how awesome it was. One of the people she introduced me to was actually Prince's father, Sham Nepali. And we met in New Hampshire. And we jammed together and had a great time. And he said, oh, when you get to Nepal, you have to meet my son. He's so great. He'll play music. You'll play music together. I was like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Like, every dad is going to say that about their son. Like, is it going to be great? Well, then 3 months later, I showed up in Nepal, and I had only brought a mandolin, and I wanted a guitar to write some songs on. So I called up Shamdai, and I said, hey, can I borrow a guitar? He said, yes, come meet my son. And so I met Prince in Kirtipur, and we started playing that day. And then we sat down and we started playing, and it was just like magic. It was just sort of this instant connection. That was pretty special and crazy to me that we grew up on opposite sides of the world, and there are American musicians who I don't vibe with. We don't have a connection. But me and Prince, it was just an instant connection. And so we started jamming together.
It's a love song that my great-grandfather composed. And we're going to fuse with another bluegrass love song. सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी चस्मे दाजु झिल्के मिलके जुल्फी मात्र कोर्ने चस्मे दाजु झिल्के मिलके जुल्फी मात्र कोर्ने दारी जुङ्गा दन्त देखाई मेरो मन चोर्ने दारी जुङ्गा दन्त देखाई मेरो मन चोर्ने नजिस्काउन हे परुलाई हाय शिवर काकी छोरीलाई नजिस्काउन हे परुलाई हाय शिवर काकी छोरीलाई सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी
जन्म दिने भगवान त हुर्काइदिने आमा जन्म दिने भगवान त हुर्काइदिने आमा कसले हेर यति राम्रो पहिराइदियो जमा कसले हेर यति राम्रो पहिराइदियो जमा सानी सानी एझिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी सानी सानी एझिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल
She was living in a lonely cabin with a son by another man. 5 years she had waited for him as long as a woman can, as long as a woman can. And I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had for Nellie Kane. To help her till the lands. In the afternoon we planted seeds, in the evening we held hands, in the evening we held hands. And her blue eyes told me everything that a man could want to know. It was then I realized how it never go, how it never go. And I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love explain that I had for Nellie Kane. We've grown up tall. I became a father to him, and she became my all. She became my all. And I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had for Nellie Kane. No, I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had Well, first of all, I just fell in love with Nepali culture. I love momos. I love dal bhat. I love it all. I love this beautiful country. I think our message to the world, one of them is that we want to show more people the beautifulness of Nepal. I think that from my perspective, I love Nepali folk music, but in this country, sometimes people haven't valued it. They've looked to the West for other influences. And so one of our goals is to bring up Nepali folk and fusing it. We're not just doing pure folk music, but to show that this is a vibrant, evolving history and tradition that is still relevant today. And then I also think to people abroad, and especially to Nepalis, I want to show them that they can take their instruments and their culture and they can bring it to the world, and that it's so amazing. I mean, everyone who I know maybe they don't know so much about Nepal, maybe the only thing they know is that Mount Everest is there. But then once they try a momo, once they hear some music, then they love it. And so we want to just share this music with more people and share the cross-cultural collaboration. I know I've been saying this for a couple of years now, but because we recorded an EP for one day, and then I've been gone from Nepal for the last year, and the hard drive just sat, and no one did anything with the files yet. So we finally got the files going, and we are finally working on our debut EP that will feature a lot of these songs, including the next one, which is one I wrote a couple of years ago. Cause all day I chug way after work and try to shove down all of the hurt. But sometimes at the end, does it fade on the page and my eyes just run a glaze.
ragged, snowy road. And I say, hallelujah, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And I say, hallelujah, let it burn, let it burn. And I say, hallelujah, 'cause I can finally feel something instead of just nothing at all. And I say, hallelujah, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And I say, hallelujah, let it burn, let it burn. And I say, hallelujah, 'cause I can finally feel something instead of just nothing at all. 'Cause when the night birds come, it's when I lose my mind. No, I can't bear this endless ticking of time.
Well, right now we really want to go abroad, and in particular, my dream is to bring the band to the U.S., to these festivals that I grew up going to, because I think it's so cool. I love playing the music that I grew up with, but with tabla on it, and the beat is dropping. It's so awesome. But right now we've been having a little bit of trouble figuring out with the visas, especially right now. So we're working on that. And then also being abroad. It's very difficult when I've moved back to the US recently. And so when we're far away, it's hard we can't make music in the same way. But it also means that the times when we are together, I've been back for a month, are just extra special because we get to make music together.
In the natural splendor, the silver-like peaks or the Himalayas glisten. Cradling a pond filled with milk in its lap, the Numbur Himal gleams. The Dudkunda, meaning a milk pond in Nepal's northeastern district of Solukhumbu, is truly the gateway to the paradise. The Numbur, Khatang and Karyalung mountains seem to smile at all times. Adorned with a garland of colorful flowers, the Dudkunda is overflowing as if filled with milk. The very sight defines nature at its best. Feels as if the Numbur mountain is giving motherly affection, holding the lake in its lap. The beauty is so serene and virgin that one fears not to stain it by touching. Indeed, Dudkunda is nature at its purest form. Located at Solu Dudkunda municipality, Taksindu, the natural paradise draws many visitors. No matter how many words are spent describing it, they all feel inadequate upon reaching there. The name itself is fulfilling and equally sacred.
हजारौं नरनारीहरू चाहिँ तीर्थयात्रीहरू दुधकुण्डमा जानुभएको छ म पनि पुगेर आएँ दुधकुण्ड असाध्यै पवित्र स्थल यो हिमाल काखमा रहेको तीर्थस्थल हो पुण्यस्थल हो देवस्थल हो र त्यहाँ चाहिँ एकचोटि पुग्नै पर्दो रहेछ त्यहाँ पुगेर जुन आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ कहीँ पनि पाइँदैन भन्ने चाहिँ महसुस भयो
आनन्द लाग्यो भएन मस्त लाग्यो अनि यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ आएर तपस्या गरेर बस्नु जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई
एकदमै राम्रो लाग्यो हैन प्रकृतिले दिएको रमणीय तीर्थस्थल हैन जो कोही पनि एकचोटि चाहिँ यहाँ आएर एकचोटि भ्रमण गरेर दर्शन गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो
Situated at an altitude of 4,531 meters above the sea level, Dudhkunda is a sacred pilgrimage site of culture and nature. It feels like nature has blessed this place, and culturally, it has bound all castes and ethnicities in a thread of unity. There are various legends and sayings about Dudhkunda. One argument is that the pond was formed during the creation of the Himalayas and was discovered by local sheep and yak herders. According to another legend, in ancient times, a yak would go to a stone where the pond is located and offer its milk every day. Later, the place was found to be a pond filled with milk, leading to its name, Dudhkunda. This has also led to the belief that gods and goddesses reside here. There are 3 different routes to reach Dudhkunda. One route is through Salleri, Faplu, Taksindu and Sasra Beni. Another route goes via Lukla, the gateway to the Everest, through Nunthala, Taksindu and Sahasra Beni. Nature has truly blessed the Solu Dudhkunda municipality. Truly, just like the majestic Mount Everest, Dudhkunda has the potential to be the destination for everyone in the days to come. It is a thread of unity among all castes and ethnicities. Just like the holy water of Dudhkunda, it will become a pure and excellent destination.
Nepal's House of Representatives resumes proceedings after opposition parties and obstruction. Discussions begin on annual revenue and expenditure estimates under next budget. Foreign Minister Khanal updates the Parliament on India visit. Government reaffirms commitment to resolving border issues through diplomatic dialogue. El Nino threatens Nepal with 75% drop in monsoon rainfall. Experts warn drought risks to rice farming and water security. U.S. President Trump warns Iran over delayed talks and signals possible new strikes. U.S.-Iran tensions escalate amid attacks and threats of retaliation. Pakistan carries out deadly border airstrikes in Afghanistan, killing militants and civilians. Taliban condemns attacks as tensions escalate. And it's the final countdown for FIFA World Cup 2026, the first with a record 48 teams. Authorities warn fans as scams surge alongside global football excitement. Hello there, I'm Smita Gising Tamang. Welcome to NTV World News Hour. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in detail. The House of Representatives resumed normal proceedings today after opposition parties ended their obstruction over Prime Minister Balendra Shah's remarks on the Nepal-India border issue. The deadlock was resolved following discussions between ruling and opposition leaders, including Rashtriya Swatantra Party Chair Ravi Lamichhane, allowing parliamentary business to move forward. The House began deliberations on the annual revenue and expenditure estimates for the fiscal year 2026-27. Finance Minister Swarnim Wagle tabled the proposal to initiate budget discussions, while Speaker Dol Prasad Aryal announced a 4-hour debate on the budget. Lawmakers from both the ruling and opposition sides presented differing views on the budget's priorities and objectives.
अर्थतन्त्रको समग्र समस्याहरूलाई स्थायी रूपमै समाधान गर्नका लागि एउटा गहिरो सर्जिकल अपरेसनका रूपमा यो बजेट आएको छ। यसले नेपालको अर्थतन्त्रको व्यापक पुनर्संरचना मात्र होइन कि शासकीय सुधारको पनि पुनर्संरचनाको लय समातेको मैले अनुभूत गरेको छु।
Some lauded the budget for focusing on economic development and reform, while others criticized it for failing to adequately address social justice, lower income groups and constitutional commitments.
यो मुलुकका भुइँ मान्छेहरूलाई बिर्सेको देखिन्छ। 2 करोड भन्दा धेरै लगानी गरेर कृषि कर्म गर्नेहरूलाई सम्झिँदै गर्दा 60% भन्दा धेरै कृषकहरूलाई सर्वसाधारणहरूलाई बजेटले बिर्सेको छ।
वित्तीय व्यवस्था घटाउन नमिल्ने आदि भएको कारणले गर्दा अन्ततोगत सबै गएर पुँजीगत खर्चमा ठोकिने हुन्छ र पुँजीगत खर्च कटिने र यो जुन पुँजीगत खर्चको लागि हामीले छुट्याएको रकम छ त्यो फेरि पनि खर्च नहुने विगतको जुन हाम्रो परम्परा छ त्यो यथावत रहन्छ भन्ने मैले ठान्दछु।
The discussion is expected to continue as the Parliament reviews key fiscal policies and spending plans for the coming year. Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal today made clear the Federal Parliament on the views Prime Minister Balendra Shah gave during a question and answer session in the House of Representatives meeting on May 31. Minister Khanal also shared the information on the issues relating to Nepal-India border and clarified that Prime Minister Shah's statement on Nepal-India border was related to cross-border occupation. The minister said Nepal and India have intimate relations, adding that government is committed to resolving 2-country border issues via diplomatic channels on the basis of historic treaty, agreement and map. He explained that as the 2 countries have open border for a long time, there are some cross-holdings in no man's land between Nepal and India, and it was based on internal consensus. The minister also said Nepal is not seeking third country mediation on border issues at all, and that the Prime Minister only signalled that Nepal could take help for any additional resources of that time.
कर घट्छ कि बढ्छ दुईटामा एउटा उले अनुमान गरेर प्लानिङ गर्न त पायो नि। अब हैन सूचना गाथ्यो भने कहीं न कहीं एउटा त्यान्द्रो प्रमाण त ल्याउनु पर्यो नि। जथाभावी छानबिन के संसद त्यति सस्तो भयो संसदीय छानबिन भन्नलाई कुनै इन्भल्भमेन्ट छ न कुनै प्रमाण छ अनुमानको भरमा अनि जे आरोप लगाइएको छ त्यसको ठ्याक्कै उल्टो भएको छ। कर घटेको छ राज्यलाई फाइदा भएको छ त्यो अलिकति बाटो हुन खोज्ने व्यापारीहरू फसेका छन् बीवाईडी यो भनेर। यहाँ अर्को चलखेल भइरहेछ कि छैन म पत्रकार साथीहरूलाई मान्य सांसदजीहरूलाई त्यता हेर्न आग्रह गर्छु।
This year's monsoon in Nepal is expected to be significantly below normal, with rainfall projected to drop by around 75% due to climate change, raising concerns of severe drought. Since nearly 70% of rice farming depends on rain, experts are advising farmers to shift toward drought-resistant rice varieties, use dry and wet seeding methods, and adopt soil moisture conservation techniques like mulching. In extreme cases, alternative crops such as maize, millet and pulses are being recommended across the Tarai and hill regions. Meanwhile, authorities are preparing for the monsoon amid warnings of floods, landslides and lightning, which claimed 140 lives last year. About 51,000 households are considered at risk, and a national disaster response plan has been activated with rescue teams and relief supplies on standby. Experts also stress stronger early warning systems and community involvement to reduce potential damage. We'll see more on this in our Issue of the Day segment later in the bulletin. Now, US President Donald Trump has claimed in a social media post Iran took too long to negotiate an agreement and will now have to pay the price. In separate comments, Trump said he may order new attacks on Iran's power plants and bridges. Iran's Revolutionary Guard attacked US assets in the region in response to US military strikes on southern Iran as the peace process stares down its latest challenge. Nations and analysts warn of the danger after a spate of attacks between the US and Iran as the controlled escalation risks a miscalculation in an already tense environment. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warned that Tehran would respond to any attack or threat, saying Washington had chosen to challenge Iran's resolve. He also urged US forces to leave the region, stating that their presence would only increase security risks. Pakistan has carried out deadly airstrikes along its border with Afghanistan, ending months of relative calm in the region. Pakistan's information minister said 26 militants were killed in coordinated attacks on multiple targets near the border, including training sites and ammunition storage. However, the Taliban government in Afghanistan reported civilian casualties, saying 13 people, mostly women and children, were killed and several others injured in 3 provinces. The strikes were carried out in response to recent attacks on Pakistani security forces, including an incident near Peshawar that killed at least 6 officers. Pakistan says it is targeting militant hideouts, while Afghanistan denies allowing its territory to be used for attacks. The escalation follows repeated cross-border clashes in recent months, despite a ceasefire agreement reached last October. It's a final countdown for FIFA World Cup 2026 that will be jointly hosted by the United States, Canada and Mexico. This edition is featuring 48 teams and a record 104 matches, making it the largest in the history. While excitement is high, concerns over climate impact, sustainability and player safety are also being raised. At the same time, authorities are warning fans about a rise in scams linked to the tournament, including fake tickets, illegal betting platforms and fraudulent streaming sites targeting eager viewers worldwide. We'll dwell more on this in our Cover Stories segment later in the bulletin. Coming up after the break, Nepal faces a sharp decline in monsoon rainfall, with experts warning of a possible drought driven by climate change and El Niño conditions. How will this impact rice farming and water security across the country? Our issue of the day after this breather. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World News Hour, and this is Mithu Gising Tamang. Now we turn into our issue of the day. Nepal could face a severe drought this monsoon as rainfall is projected to be 75% below average, raising concerns over rice production and prompting experts to urge farmers to adopt drought-resilient farming practices. Sabika Shrestha brings the report.
This year's monsoon rain in Nepal is projected to be 75% lower than normal due to climate change. This suggests a higher likelihood of intensive drought affecting rice cultivation, 70% of which depends on rain. Experts have hence advised farmers to plant drought-tolerant rice varieties. In particular, they recommend dry-seeded and wet-seeded rice cultivation methods along with planting rice varieties that can survive even with less water. Likewise, to retain soil moisture for a longer period, they suggest the use of mulching wherever possible. In case of extreme drought, experts say farmers in the Tarai can cultivate crops such as maize, black gram, pigeon pea, and cowpea, while those in hilly regions can opt for finger millet, maize, and sweet buckwheat.
यो गर्मी भएकाले छिटोमा चिस्यान माटोमा भएको चिस्यान उडेर जान्छ त्यो उड्नबाट पनि माटोमा भएको चिस्यानलाई चाहिँ कायम राख्नलाई कहीँ पत्तापत्ती ओछ्याएर कहीँ के छ अब यसलाई हामी मल्चिङ भन्छौँ छापो लाउन सकिन्छ छापो पनि लाएर पनि त्यो चिस्यानलाई कायम गर्न सकिन्छ र अहिले अब यस्तो खडेरीमा चाहिँ अब पानी एकदमै कम छ वर्षा एकदम कम छ यो बेलामा चाहिँ जस्तो जुन ठाउँमा पानी अलिकै परिरहेछ पानी परेको ठाउँमा पानीको स्रोत भएको ठाउँमा चाहिँ पानीलाई चाहिँ सङ्कलन गरेर राख्ने.
This year, the sea surface temperature in the Pacific Ocean is expected to become significantly warmer than average, leading to the development of El Nino, which is likely to have a direct impact of Nepal's monsoon. El Nino is a natural climatic phenomenon in which sea surface temperatures in the Pacific Ocean rise above normal and wind patterns weaken. The World Meteorological Organization has estimated an 80% probability of El Nino occurring this year.
Whenever there is a El Nino condition in Pacific Ocean, the monsoon in South Asia becomes weaker in general. When monsoon becomes weak, then Nepal also will get the lesser rainfall. So in that sense, when we analyze this year's monsoon, so our monsoon is going to be below normal. Below normal rainfall in monsoon doesn't mean that there won't be the extreme events. The frequency of heavy rainfall might be lesser, but there could be heavy rain as well. So please be updated with our information and our special bulletins.
On average, Nepal receives between 1,991 millimeters and 2,020 millimeters of rainfall during the monsoon season. Nepal has 2.22 million hectares of cultivable land, of which 1.4 million hectares are used for rice cultivation. However, only 30% of this land has access to irrigation. With camera person Pradumna Dhungel, Sabika Shrestha, NTV World.
El Niño is a climate phenomenon marked by unusually warm ocean temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific, influencing global weather patterns. In 2026, it is expected to intensify risks of heat waves, droughts, heavy rainfall, and unpredictable monsoon patterns across different regions. Here's a detailed breakdown of the phenomenon.
Experts forecast that the developing El Nino in the tropical Pacific Ocean could be one of the strongest on record, increasing the likelihood of global weather disruptions. Meteorological agencies and climate researchers say rising ocean temperatures linked to the phenomenon are likely to intensify global heat waves, prolong drought conditions in vulnerable areas, and trigger heavier rainfall and flooding elsewhere. Scientists have cautioned that the weather system could place additional pressure on food production, water supplies, and energy networks already strained by climate change. El Nino occurs when sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific Ocean rise above normal levels, disrupting atmospheric circulation and altering weather patterns worldwide. Previous strong El Nino events have been associated with severe flooding in parts of South America, droughts in Australia, Southeast Asia, and South Asia, and record-breaking global temperatures. Forecasters say current ocean warming trends indicate the developing system may rival some of the most powerful El Nino episodes recorded in recent decades. The warning comes as several countries continue to experience unusually high temperatures and increasingly erratic seasonal weather conditions.
Nepal has stepped up preparations as the monsoon is expected to enter the country within a few days, according to the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology. Authorities say the focus is on reducing losses from floods, landslides and lightning, which claim dozens of lives every year. Last year alone, 140 people died and 30 went missing during the monsoon period, highlighting the recurring impact of disaster risks across the country. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority, NDRRMA, says a national action plan has been activated, assigning responsibilities to different agencies, strengthening search and rescue systems, and keeping trained personnel and relief materials on standby. Around 51,000 households are estimated to be at risk this monsoon. Meanwhile, experts emphasize that government efforts alone are not enough and effective early warning systems, community participation and timely traffic restrictions in high-risk areas are essential to minimize monsoon damage. And in this context today, in our Public Pulse segment, we have asked local level officials and the general public what measures for disaster preparedness should be taken. Let's have a look.
हामीले बाढीको पूर्व तयारी कसरी गरेका छौं झटपट झोलाहरूलाई तयार पारेका छौं अमूल्य कागजातहरूलाई पनि सुरक्षित स्थानमा राखेका छौं गरगहना भयो लत्ता कपडाहरू भयो अनि सुरक्षित स्थानहरू तोकेका छौं हामीले
कुनै चाहिँ त्यस्तो त हाम्रो स्थानीय सरकारसँग स्रोत पनि छैन तर हामीले तत्कालै त्यस्तो बाढी आयो भने कुनै कुनै गाउँबाट छिर्यो भने त्यसलाई बाँसको पाइलिङहरू बनाउने नियन्त्रण गर्ने बोरामा चाहिँ माटो भरेर नियन्त्रण गर्ने र त्यहाँका चाहिँ जोखिमपूर्ण बस्तीहरूलाई चाहिँ सूचना अग्रिम सूचना गर्ने बर्खायाममा अनि यदि बाढी पसिगयो भने उहाँहरूलाई सुरक्षित ठाउँमा लगेर राख्ने
अब घर डुबान पारेको छ अब कहाँनेरि अब उ गरेर हामीलाई बचाउनु पर्ने त्यही अवस्थामा सरकारले सूचना दिनुपर्छ हामीलाई कहाँ जानु पर्ने कुन ठाउँमा
हामीले जस्तै कि नमुना कृत्रिम अभ्यास पनि गरिराखेका छौं हामीले विपद आउन भन्दा पूर्व हामीले के कुराले हामीलाई असर पर्छ कति हामीलाई कहाँ जानु पर्छ कस्तो गर्नु पर्छ सबभन्दा विपद आउँदाखेरि सबभन्दा पहिला हामीलाई कसलाई मान्यता दिनुपर्छ त्यो भने हामीले सिकाएका छौं
गरिब बस्ती छ यहाँ डुबान धेरै पानीको आउँछ यहाँ व्यवस्था गर्नै पर्छ सरकारले बानको तुल्नु पर्यो
यो वर्षको मनसुनका लागि हामी चाहिँ विभिन्न खोला नाला नाली बुझिएका नालीहरू सफा गर्ने कार्यक्रमका साथसाथै कटान हुन सक्ने सम्भावित क्षेत्रमा चाहिँ तटबन्ध गरेका छौं
And that wraps up our issue of the day. On to the next segment now. The FIFA World Cup 2026 kicks off tomorrow, marking the biggest edition in the history, with 48 teams and 104 matches. But alongside the excitement, rising concerns over scams and cyber fraud are casting a shadow over football's grandest stage. A special coverage after this break in the cover story. Welcome back, and now cover story of the day. The world's biggest sporting event, the FIFA World Cup 2026, kicks off tomorrow across the United States, Canada and Mexico. With 48 nations, 104 matches and historic debuts, this will be the largest tournament ever staged. But alongside the excitement, questions over climate, sustainability and player safety are already sparking debate as football's grandest stage comes alive.
The world's biggest sporting spectacle is just hours away. The FIFA World Cup 2026 kicks off Thursday, June 11, for the first time across 3 countries, the United States, Canada and Mexico. For the first time in history, 48 nations will compete, making this the largest World Cup ever staged. With 104 matches scheduled, fans are set for a month-long festival of football unlike anything seen before. Action begins at Mexico City's iconic Estadio Azteca, which becomes the first stadium to host 3 different World Cups. Mexico will face South Africa in front of a packed crowd, setting the tone for a tournament filled with drama and history. The United States will host marquee clashes, including its group stage battle against Paraguay, while Canada welcomes debutants like Jordan and Uzbekistan, who are making their first appearance on football's grandest stage. Groups promise excitement. Brazil meets Morocco in a fiery contest. Germany faces debutants Curaçao, and the US prepares for a test against Turkey. Alongside the thrill, some of the issues including climate concerns loom large. Matches in hot and humid American cities are already raising questions about player safety. FIFA has introduced mandatory hydration breaks, but cities argue more needs to be done. Environmental activists also warn that the expanded format could result in the largest carbon footprint of any sporting event in history. Despite the controversies, anticipation is electric. From historic debuts to global rivalries, the 2026 World Cup is set to be the biggest and perhaps most debated football festival ever.
World Cup fever is spreading fast, but so are the scams that come with it. From illegal betting platforms and fake ticket sales to fraudulent streaming links, cybercriminals are cashing in on football's biggest event. With fans eager not to miss a moment of the action, authorities are warning that the road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup could also lead straight into online fraud. Here's a special report by our correspondent Anjir Singh BK.
As excitement builds for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Nepal is witnessing a rise in cyber fraud targeting football fans.
त्यो खोल्ने बित्तिकै बैंकको सबै पैसा नै जान्छ अनि यसरी ठगिरहेको हुन्छ मान्छेहरू अनि यसरी 70-80 लाख पुरै गइसक्यो सो मान्छेहरूले जहाँ पाए त्यो लिंकमा क्लिक पनि गर्नु हुँदैन
हजुरबा हजुरआमा मामु बाबाहरूले पनि सबैलाई सिकाउनु पर्छ यो नराम्रो काम हो नि त लिंक अरूलाई ठग्ने गर्ने भनेको
Nepal Police's Cyber Bureau says scammers are exploiting the tournament's popularity by circulating fake links, promising free live streaming, discounted tickets, and exclusive match access. Victims are often tricked into downloading malicious applications or sharing banking details, leading to unauthorized withdrawals from their accounts. According to the Cyber Bureau, at least 55 complaints related to World Cup-themed online scams had been registered at the time of reporting, and investigations are underway to identify those involved. Authorities are urging the public to verify websites and avoid clicking on unsolicited links or downloading applications from untrusted sources.
निशुल्क हेर्न पाइन्छ भन्ने भ्रममा नपर्नु हुन हामी साइबर ब्युरो अनुरोध गर्छौं र कोही व्यक्ति यसरी ठगिनु भएको खण्डमा तत्काल नजिकको प्रहरी कार्यालय वा साइबर ब्युरोमा मेलबाट र आफै उपस्थित भएर पनि उजुरी गर्न सकिन्छ.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup, the largest in the tournament's history, will be jointly hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico. For the first time, 48 teams will compete in 104 matches across 16 host cities between June 11 and July 19, 2026. With millions of fans expected to follow the month-long tournament online, Nepali authorities warn that cyber criminals are increasingly using major sporting events to launch phishing attacks and financial scams. Police are advising supporters to purchase tickets only through official channels and remain vigilant while accessing World Cup-related content online.
And that brings us to the close of our Cup story of the day. Now the remaining updates. 16 Nepali workers were held hostage in Haryana, India under the pretext of providing employment have been rescued and brought back home. The workers from the Musahar community of the integrated model settlement in Ward number 14 of Bardibas municipality, Mahottari, were rescued through the joint efforts of the Indian Police, the Nepal Embassy New Delhi, Afanta India Foundation and the Area Police Office Bardibas. They had been working at a poultry farm in Jhajjar, Haryana, after being lured with promises of good jobs and attractive salaries. However, once they arrived, they were subjected to physical assault, threats, verbal abuse, and labor exploitation. The rescued Nepali workers expressed happiness upon returning home, saying they were worried about whether they would ever reunite with their families. The government is preparing a new civil service bill that would make civil servants eligible for compulsory retirement once they reach the age of 55 or complete 30 years of service. More than 7,000 employees could be affected by the proposed provision as part of efforts to streamline the public administration system. The draft bill retains the existing age limits for entry into civil service, 35 years for men and 40 years for women. It also proposes reducing the tenure of the Chief Secretary from these years to 2 years and that of secretaries from 5 years to 3 years. In a major reform measure, the bill introduces a performance evaluation system under which not only supervisors but also peers and junior staff will be able to assess the work of senior officials and contribute to their appraisal scores. The government says the bill is part of its broader governance reform agenda and is currently undergoing final legal review before being sent to the Parliament. The Asset Investigation Commission formed to probe public officials' wealth accumulation since 2016 to Bikram Sambat has extended the deadline for submitting property details until the end of Nepali month of Asar. Earlier, the Commission had issued a notice asking individuals who held positions from former Prime Ministers to Under-Secretary level officials to submit their asset details by the end of the month of Jesta. The Commission stated that documents and complaints can be submitted directly through representatives, postal services or email. So far, only about 3,500 individuals have submitted their property records, prompting the extension due to delays and complaints from those abroad. The Commission also urged the public to file complaints if any official is found to have misused power or accumulated suspicious wealth. It has divided the post-1990 democratic period into phases for systematic investigation and review of documents and allegations. The Siddharth Highway, a key link between Nepal's Tarai and hills, has seen a sharp rise in traffic in recent months due to increasing Indian tourists. More visitors heading to Pokhara and Muktinath have led to a noticeable increase in Indian registered vehicles on the route. Locals say this has boosted tourism and supported local businesses in the region. Rojina Rai with our local correspondent Himal Nupani brings the report.
The Siddhartha Highway, once primarily used by public and private vehicles travelling to Butwal, Pokhara and Kathmandu, is now witnessing a growing number of vehicles carrying Indian tourists. As the tourist arrivals to Muktinath via Pokhara continue to increase, traffic flow along the highways intensifies, bringing renewed economic activity to local markets and communities along the route. Local business owners say the rise in tourist arrivals provides a significant boost to hotels, restaurants, retail shops and other service-oriented businesses there. According to officials, up to 250 Indian registered vehicles travel along the Siddhartha Highway each day. To ensure a smooth and hassle-free journey for visitors, the district police office is facilitating and assisting tourists along the route.
सिद्धार्थ राजमार्ग प्रयोग गरेर पोखरा मुक्तिनाथसम्म जाने एकदमै अत्यधिक सवारी साधन प्रवेश भइरहेको छ र बाटोमा पनि कुनै अवरोध नहोस् के नहोस् भन्ने के अप्ठ्यारो परेमा तुरुन्त हामीलाई चाहिँ सम्पर्क गर्नु होला भनेर उहाँहरूलाई जानकारी दिने काम चाहिँ गरिरहेको छ.
Despite the economic benefits, managing the growing traffic volume also becomes a challenge. The highway's winding alignment, narrow curves and high-speed vehicle movement add pressure on both the road safety and the traffic management systems. Every summer, Nepal sees a rise in Indian tourist arrivals drawn by its cooler climate and renowned religious and natural attractions. However, the Siddhartha Highway, an important gateway for these visitors, has yet to undergo the long-awaited upgrades needed to accommodate increasing traffic demand. Entrepreneurs also say improving the highway will make travel safer and more convenient, attract even more tourists, and further stimulate the local economy.
International news lined up next. Before that, a recap of the headlines. House of Representatives resumes proceedings after opposition parties and obstruction. Discussions begin on annual revenue and expenditure estimates under next budget. Foreign Minister updates the Parliament on India visit. Government reaffirms commitment to resolving border issues through diplomatic dialogue. El Nino threatens Nepal with 75% drop in monsoon rainfall. Experts warn drought risks to rice farming and water security. US President Trump warns Iran over delayed talks and signals possible new strikes. US-Iran tensions escalate amid attacks and threats of retaliation. Pakistan carries out deadly border airstrikes in Afghanistan, killing militants and civilians. Taliban condemns attacks as tensions escalate. And it's the final countdown for FIFA World Cup 2026, the first with a record 40 teams. Authorities warn fans as scams surge alongside global football excitement. A Pakistani army helicopter crashed near the city of Muzaffarabad, the military said on Wednesday, adding there were no survivors. In a statement, the military said a Mi-17 helicopter of Pakistan Army Aviation crashed near Muzaffarabad during takeoff due to technical fault, adding that all personnel on board were killed without specifying the number of people killed. There has been a heavy security presence in recent days in Muzaffarabad after members of a protest movement said they would hold demonstrations shortly after the local government banned the group under anti-terror laws. Ukrainian forces have launched long-range missile strikes deep inside Russia, targeting key military and energy facilities, according to President Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky said FP-5 Flamingo cruise missiles hit a drone and missile plant in Cheboksary, over 900 kilometers from the front line, causing injuries and a fire at the site. Ukraine also reported strikes on a port in occupied Mariupol, an oil refinery in Samara, and a tanker linked to Russia's Shadow Fleet in the Black Sea. The attacks come amid intensified Ukrainian drone and missile operations against Russian infrastructure, which Kyiv says supports Moscow's war effort. Russia claimed it intercepted hundreds of Ukrainian drones overnight, while Ukraine said it shot down most incoming drones, but still suffered multiple impacts and casualties. Officials on both sides reported civilian injuries and damage as a long-range exchange of strikes continues to escalate the conflict. Thailand's former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra is officially a free man less than a week after receiving a royal pardon, the Department of Corrections said on Tuesday. 76-year-old Thaksin served 8 months of a 1-year sentence for corruption and abuse of power before being released on parole last month due to his age and health. The Department of Corrections said the former premier was required to wear an electronic monitoring device as a condition of his release. The telecoms billionaire was among those eligible for a royal pardon on June 3, Queen Sutida's birthday, because he had less than 1 year remaining on his sentence. Thailand regularly grants royal pardons to prisoners with good conduct to mark major royal occasions, including the birthdays of the King and the Queen. Business news lined up next. For now, a short breather.
Saudi Arabia has officially launched Riyadh Air, its second national carrier, after more than a year of delays, pressing ahead with ambitions to transform the kingdom into a global aviation hub, despite Mid-East crises, economic uncertainty, and intense competition. The new airline joins Saudia as the country's second state-owned carrier and is central to Saudi Arabia's strategy of positioning Riyadh as a major gateway for international travel. Backed by the government, Riyadh Air aims to expand connectivity, attract millions of transit passengers, and support the kingdom's broader economic diversification plans under Vision 2030. The carrier will compete with established Gulf airlines as Saudi Arabia seeks to challenge Dubai's status as the world's busiest hub for international passengers. The EU has told Meta that it must allow AI chatbots operated by rival firms to use WhatsApp for free. The European Commission said the firm would need to maintain that access while it concluded an antitrust investigation into the tech giant's decision to bar access for AI providers other than Meta AI on the messaging platform. It said the intervention was needed to prevent serious and irreparable harm to competition in this growing market by Meta's conduct, which it said appeared to infringe EU competition rules. The EU said it began its investigation in December 2025 after Meta banned third-party general-purpose AI assistants from the WhatsApp for Business API. It said that appeared to be an abuse of Meta's dominant position in European markets. Youth employment in South Korea has fallen for a second straight year, extending a 24-month decline, the longest since the global financial crisis. As stable jobs become harder to find, more young people are seeking work overseas. More than 22,000 attended a government-hosted overseas job fair this year. The number of regular employees in their 20s fell by more than 160,000 from a year earlier, while hiring remained weak in manufacturing and professional services. The number of people in their late 20s who are neither working or seeking work also rose by more than 30,000, the largest increase since the COVID-19 pandemic employment shock. Experts warn the prolonged slowdown is limiting opportunities for young people to secure stable incomes and narrow wealth disparities. Toy charms shaped like a goat and decked out in Lionel Messi's Argentina number 10 shot pepper a factory tabletop in China, where sellers are betting on the country's lucrative fan market for a big World Cup boost. The World Cup begins in North America on Thursday, but China won't be there after failing to qualify once again, leaving their sole appearance back in 2002. Yet, there's still plenty of interest in the country, and the showpiece is a boon for Chinese merchants, crunching out kits and accessories for fans, spending on emotional value, a rare bright spot in a domestic economy plagued by sluggish consumption. The palm-sized soft toy goats, homage to Messi's title as the GOAT, greatest of all time, are a bestseller for the All-Star Partner, a Chinese firm that has contracted with teams, including Argentina, to make branded products. Nearby were soft toy footballers resembling Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo, fluffy roosters in France polos, and teddy bears in Spain kits.
Now the sports update. Nepal has been knocked out of the ACC Women's Premier Cup after losing in the quarterfinals. In a must-win match to qualify for the Asia Cup, Nepal suffered a 56-run defeat, ending its hopes of reaching the continental tournament. Chasing a target of 131 runs, Nepal could manage only 74 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in 20 overs. The defeat marked Nepal's 9th loss to Thailand. Nepal has not beaten Thailand in any match since 2019. Now the weather updates, first from Nepal and then across the world. Before we wrap up, here's a reminder of our top stories. Nepal's House of Representatives resumes proceedings after opposition parties end obstruction and discussions begin on annual revenue and expenditure estimates under next budget. Foreign Minister updates the Parliament on India visit. Government reaffirms commitment to resolving border issues through diplomatic dialogue. El Nino threatens Nepal with 75% drop in monsoon rainfall. Experts warn drought risks to rice farming and weather security. US President Trump warns Iran over delayed talks and signals possible new strikes. US-Iran tensions escalate amid attacks and threats of retaliation. Pakistan carries out deadly border airstrikes in Afghanistan, killing militants and civilians. Taliban condemns attacks as tensions escalate. And it's the final countdown for FIFA World Cup 2026, the first with a record 48 teams. Authorities warn fans as scams surge alongside global football excitement. And that's it for this edition of NTV World News Hour. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. This is Smita Gising Thamang signing off. Thank you for staying with us. Good night.